Hello, we are live. It is Monday, Trucking Answers Live. Very excited to be here as always on Mondays. Glad to see everybody. Moving my stuff around. Man, it's going to be a busy week as usual out here. How's everybody doing? And we're going to talk, of course, about these speed limiters and whatever else you want to talk to. I always like to get to everybody before it gets too busy. Troy, it was too early today. Glad to see you, though. Richard, hey, what's happening? Good to come in. Trucking Wife, hello there, Trucking Wife. Good to see you. Jason, I can't wait for another great episode either. It's always wonderful to be here. Bluish Hue, wow. Yeah, good day from Utah. What's it going on? What's going on over there in Utah today? Nice. Jeff, if they're paid minimum wage, do you think drivers sense? No, I don't think drivers' pay is going to go down. It's too cutthroat, right, to get people. So there's no way they could advertise pay decrease and still get people. Felix, which company is doing the best? That is a good question, right? And for those of you that don't know that are new, I have another screen down here where I keep track of the comments. So that's what I'm not trying to ignore everybody. Did they change the law? You heard about the 30-minute will be gone. No, that's going to be announced, though, at the beginning of next year, they said. Martinez came out and said, hey, we're going to fast-track all this stuff. So it's not going to take years like usual. It's only going to be months on this. And I think what I've said is that the 30-minute thing will be gone. That's what I think, and that's what I'm hoping for as well. Jack, thank you for coming in here. And let me get back to my chatty thing. I'll just have this technology problem as we get in. Here we go. All right, there we go. Holy mackerel. So I'm way behind on these. Let's see. So Dustin, hello. Thanks for coming in. Devin, hey, what's going on? Wild Bill is back here again. It's good to see you today. Nittany Lion here. Jose is in here. Salty Pirate TV. That's interesting. I love that name. Nice. Laverne, hey, what's happening? All right, William Richardson is in here. Another good day in Indiana. It's always a great day here in Indiana. We have the best roads in the nation, okay? The best 100%. I've been here for, my whole life. We have the best roads by far of anywhere in the nation, and there's no way people can deny that. No way. Okay, the White Knight is here. Yes, that's good. Mr. Redwine says hello. Yes, I say hello back to you. U.S. Express, well, what do we think about that? Tell us what you think. You've come to learn my ways. Well, I don't know if that's any good, my ways, but hopefully there's something I can do for somebody. Mr. Skeptical fed 5,000 people. That's awesome. Are you still down there in Florida, or have they moved you around? Tony, Celadon for teams. I don't know about that. Like we talked about a week or two ago, Celadon's on the ropes with their money. I would be concerned working there that I wasn't going to get a check because they're basically nearly broke, for sure. So, morning, truck driver's life, Kelly L. That's good. Hello, what's happening? Tony, yeah, oil work does pay. None of it around here, of course. Okay, so you're not in Florida, Mr. Skeptical. Where'd they send you off to now? You're all over the place. Which state's roads do I dread driving on? Indiana, right? Let's just be honest. They're horrible. Let's go back to the truth now that's been out there. They're terrible. We have this huge state surplus here, and it's just ridiculous that they can't even fix a simple pothole. Yesterday, I took a trip with my wife down I-69, and, the road's only been open a couple of years. This is the south of Bloomington. We had to head down there, and this in a car, and the road's terrible. Okay, there's a bunch of bangs and holes and stuff, and they just opened it. It's brand new. Terrible. Chris, good. Checking in, good. It's good to see you. You're back home, Mr. Skeptical? That's interesting. There's nothing going on just right now for you, but I'm sure that you'll get called out soon. So what do we think about these speed limiters? There's this company, Road Safe America, which is just a group of non-drivers. Chris, hello. Thanks for coming in. And so they, of course, want to limit how fast trucks go because the fast trucks are all running everybody over and basically killing people willy-nilly. And so they've got the ear of the government for the moment because they've got a little money going out towards the government. And so they would like speed limiters set at 65. That's what they would like done for all trucks. Will that get any traction? It's been on and off. The Obama administration had some talk of setting speed limiters to reduce emissions, right? It was what they were all about. But, there may be something. If you get these environmental people and then the safety people together, there's a lot of people. And so then they go up to the government and go, hey, look, there's all of us. We need to do something about this. So there may be something to it, right? Buchanan Hauling and Rigging in Fort Wayne. Yeah, any place and they have a low, if I remember, their DOT number is like super low. They've been around forever. So yeah, that's probably true. Bluish Hue looking to pull an air slide pneumatic trailer as an owner operator. Wow. What is my opinion? He'll be hauling lime cement and hydrate. It's a power only good paying load. I'm a company driver. I don't pretend to be an owner operator on here, so I don't know 100% of what that might go into. But there are owner operators on here that are going to chime in the next few seconds to give you probably a better view of it than me. I wouldn't want to give you the wrong advice on that. I pull doubles, but not this kind of double, and never as an owner operator. Shooter Ray is a new subscriber. Thanks for popping in and subscribing. We have an announcement about that as well here shortly. The Hirschbach Water Division. What are they? Hirschbach has a water division? Was set at 60. I didn't know they even had a water division at Hirschbach. Yeah, Tony, 65 is what they'd like all trucks set at. No faster, because once trucks go past 65, apparently, they just go crazy and start murdering people. And here's what happened. Look, and I don't want to diminish this guy's grief. The guy that started this company is his son was killed by a driver, and his son was stopped, and the driver was speeding. They went and looked at the truck box on cruise and didn't even stop and ran him over. And so look, that driver certainly at fault, and that's horrible. His child is killed, as a teenager or very young, and that's horrible. Okay, that's terrible, and that driver should pay the price for that. He should be paying attention, not set the cruise on and just run people over, because plow into them, of course. But that doesn't mean the whole industry, needs to be changed like that. So this guy had grief, so he started this, and he's just going to get back at all drivers, and he should probably, hold the grief to something else, because that's not going to be productive. And the speeding wasn't really the cause of the accident. All the truck was speeding. The cause of the accident was the truck didn't stop for stopped traffic. It wouldn't have mattered if he was going 55 or, 75 probably. He still would have killed him. So the speeding wasn't really the cause of the accident, just that the truck, in fact, was speeding. And so he wants to limit this. And look, I'm totally against it, right? I'm totally against it. I just want to put it out there and see what people thought about it, right? UPS freight driver, good. That's nice. You can give us some information about UPS freight. They always advertise for a really good pay around here for sure. Trucks, yeah, no car. Yeah, what? Let's limit the car speed to 65 then. Cars just as dangerous, right? Let's do that. CRST, I don't know what we're doing about that for sure. Trucks should run the speed limit of the fastest state, 75. Trucks should run, shouldn't speed. Look, I'm not saying that, right? I always tell people, follow whatever the law is. You should never speed. Even in California, you should go 55. Okay, so we shouldn't speed, but limiting speed, I don't like it, right? And you should go, I don't like even speed limits. I wish it had a speed. Everybody needs to go at a certain speed. If we all kept on the same speed, there wouldn't be all this passing. And that's what all the studies show, is that when interactions, which is when a vehicle has to make a move because of another vehicle, that's the cause of accidents. And that's what I want to end. That would be better for safety, but nobody wants to do that, right? Because then some companies would have to set their speed higher, Prime. 75 would be optimal. Oh, you're an owner-operator at UPS. That's interesting. Speed limiter is supposed to be low. The speed limit, especially out west, is hazardous. Yes. We have trucks. Yeah, you can get passed up going 15, 20 miles an hour faster than other vehicles. That's crazy. You own a Wilson Road Brute 48 step deck. Yikes. You owned it, hauled military equipment for Landstar Ranger. I like Landstar's idea of showing you all the loads. I really always like that. You get to pick from all loads that are on there. Devin, oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Devin. That's much appreciated. How many drivers are watching this while driving? None. All the drivers are parked and in a legal, safe spot. Although, look, you could watch it and just have the sound on and use it as a like a radio show, right? Just the sound coming through the speakers. Most of the trucks are Bluetooth these days. That's what I think. You have yourself a goal to have your own truck in 5 years. You're heading towards a cab over. Wow. Any input would be welcome. Yeah, interesting. I don't know where to find one. And always at least buy the truck yourself. You know, owner operator, it's not for me. I'm a company driver, but it is for some people. At least go buy the truck yourself so that you always have control over the equipment. That's a piece of business equipment, right? Truck drivers always go off the rails on that a little bit and think like they're still truckers when they buy their own truck. And yeah, they're truckers, but you're running a business. You're an entrepreneur. So you have to run your business, not just, buy whatever. And certainly you should be able to pick up a cab over at a good price. Maybe just for a few dollars. Set cars to 65, only if trucks, right? Let's get it. Why doesn't he want cars set to 65? Thanks, Jim. We're all American here, right? Always running a flag. Have I seen the video where the college kid took all the lanes and we're going 65? The traffic jam was crazy. Going the trucks at speed limit is a nightmare. Well, Black Smoke Matters just did this kind of thing, although they stopped out in Washington, D.C. and blocked up traffic for basically a few minutes to get their point across. It's crazy. All trucks, if everybody went the same speed, though, there wouldn't be an issue. That's the problem, are interactions. OIDA commissioned a big study about this a few years ago, and it showed the more interactions caused more accidents. So the bigger variation in speed was the cause of accidents because people have to change lanes, they come up, they get all mad or whatever, and that was the bigger cause. So people should run 65, 75, whatever it is. That's what people should be doing. There shouldn't be all these trucks going 55 and a 75. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. No higher than 75. Owner operators with UPS freight, they don't pay fair? I don't know. Well, what's the problem with the pay there? The faster speed, the more severe the accident. Yes, that is true. That's what that guy said too on Road Safe America. He said, look, the faster trucks go, the worse the accidents are going to be. There'd be a massive rolling roadblock. Well, particularly with 2 lanes. Well, but everybody would be going the same speed. There wouldn't be anybody to pass you if we all went the same speed. I think with speed limiters, though, yeah. And look, if they did that, that'd be the thing to do, was just roll along at the speed limit and let people deal with it. That's how you get the law changed. Elizabeth is watching while your husband is driving. Excellent. Right. See? Very safe and legal. Driver cameras triggered. Few cams here at Crete reserved for safety. Yeah. Crete only puts them in if you have a safety problem or apparently upon request. I don't know who would do that. You don't mind a speed limiter as long as you have a passing gear, 5 miles an hour, over the governed speed. They probably wouldn't allow it. If they're going to limit you, it's going to be limited. Thank you, Guillermo, catching the live feed. Good. Thanks for coming in today. We do this every Monday at 1 for people that don't know it. 1 Eastern time, that is. Where do I work? All right, I get asked this every week, so I'll say this right. My company has a social media policy because it's a big corporation, and so I don't mention them here or in my videos, and that allows me to do videos without their corporate nose being stuck up my business, basically. So I leave them out of it, but I also don't recruit for them. A lot of drivers come out and recruit for a single company. Oh, work here, it's great or whatever. I don't do that either. Okay, so I don't recruit for them, so I don't get any recruiting bonus from them, and also don't mention them. Then I can say whatever I want because they may go, hey, we know this guy over here in this company you don't like, so pipe down. So I don't want them in my business. So basically, I keep them out of my business. So, although I've been at my company for people that don't know over 16 years, and I've been a driver over 30 years. Okay, and so you can find a good company and stay there, that pays you for all your time. It's important. But so you can do it, and I encourage you to do that. They should GPS those auto trucks. Right, I agree. Europe does have trucks that are governed. They have a lot of different laws over there. That's true. They have truck lanes. Fair pay is 33% of the, it depends, right? I'm not a fan of percentage, which I've talked about, because as the rates go down, your pay goes down and you don't have any control over that. At least a flat rate of pay, you're going to get the same amount. That's what I think about it. And I always think I'm being hosed out of money if I'm being put on percentage. I want to see the rate thing that they get then. You've been a driver since 2000 until 3 months ago. What the heck happened? Big M has cameras facing in or out. Yeah, I'm finding a lot of those. They're going in, but company drivers that are protesting get them changed, like Millis, right? They just turned them off at Millis. And other companies, Swift turned them off, so they only face outside. Swift did it. So holy mackerel. Elizabeth is governed at 65. That's pretty common. That's the same as me, 65. My company truck's 65 here. Rand McNally overdrive 8 inches. Good. Yikes. That'd be a big screen in front of you. As an owner operator, you govern yourself to 67. Yeah, to pay for the fuel. On this mapping, I just like Google Maps, really, on a phone. Now, it's not truck-based, right? People always gripe at me. That's not truck-based. I know. But it does run traffic, and the maps are updated constantly. It's a constantly updated map, and you can look ahead, and it'll show you traffic along your entire route. And as you change it, if you have to get off the road, it changes with you. So I'm a fan of running a phone in a mount or another device that's running Google Maps and just have that running. I really like it. I use it also for final mile, which is what I call it, as J.B. Hunt calls it. So you go your last mile or whatever, you need to know what road to turn on. Is it this road? It's dark out. There's no road signs. The mapping shows you which road. I'm sure everybody that uses it goes, Mark, we already know this, okay? But I run it every day, all the time, even if you know where you're going, just for traffic. In driving school, they teach you never to drive against the governor limiter to allow power reserve in the event of a steer tire blowout. That's fascinating. Joshua says that is fascinating. Never thought about it. I've had tires blow out and not an issue. Not a lot of steer tires, a couple of them, but I wouldn't agree with it. I wouldn't say to run lower than that in case you have a blowout. Number one, they're very infrequent. I can only think of maybe a couple of steer tires that have blown out, maybe over the years. The back tires seem to blow out more. And to run that just so you can get on it for a little bit, no. I don't. Just don't jerk the wheel when your steer tire blows out, and you'll be fine, right? Just keep your hands stay steady. That's the problem, is people jerk the wheel. It pulls, so they jerk the wheel back, right? You always got to be thinking, and then they roll over. So I would say no to that, right? But that's your school. I would say no. Not sure why faster trucks think they're owed the middle lane. I totally agree with you, right? People need to still be, because you can go 80, right? You still got to be a courteous driver. What the heck? Come on. Google Maps is an invaluable tool. I totally agree, right? It's the best thing. It's totally free. It doesn't show bridges, okay, and truck routes. That is a given. But to see which street, is it this road or is it that road? Oh, it says it's 700 feet, so it's that road. That thing can just save you one time like that, can save you a ton of time, and it doesn't cost anything. So even when you're starting, you can at least run that. You don't have to buy a specific $300 truck thing. It's free. Run it immediately. And if you have an Apple phone, throw it out and go get a Google phone and run Google Maps. Or unless they're running Google Maps on Apple, you could always download it. The world isn't, Sally Salty Right says that's not true. The world isn't flat. Or is it? Or is it? But driving close to 30 years. Oh, thanks a lot, Jim. I appreciate that. So we got a lot of time going on together. Another 30-year driver. Not too many of us left. Everybody quits in the first few months, first year, and partly because of the training. A lot of it is the training. And that's sad because it's really a good career that, you can make your whole life on, really. Best start off on the truck job training. There's a video here on YouTube called Why Speed Limiters Kill. Oh, explains the attempts to explain tire that blowout reasoning. Yeah, look, maybe in some cases it's a problem. I've always run speed limited trucks, pretty much. I had a few fast trucks, and I've had a steer tire go out and I didn't die from it. So if you're on it, if you're paying attention, you should always be paying attention, right? Be paying attention and don't jerk the wheel back. And I think you got it made. That's what I found, right? Don't jerk the wheel back. Just drive it out. Drive it over the shoulder. That rim's pretty tough, by the way. I had to drive through a construction zone once. That tire blew out, and I bet I drove a half a mile on a rim and then pulled over a steer rim. And when the guy came out, I go, didn't you bring me a rim? He goes, oh, heck no. He goes, so you can drive miles on those things. I go, not on cops, you can't. He goes, well, you can do it. No problem. He put a tire on there, and that was the end of it. So they're pretty tough. can't, right. I agree. You can't follow it blindly. Look, Norman, I totally agree. You can't just go wherever it tells you to go. You got to do your homework in advance. All right. I like to find the route. Okay. And then I'll Google Earth a place to see where's the entrance for trucks. It may not be at their address. It may be on the side street or whatever. So I can find the driveway that I want to get into. Then you set up the Google Maps. Totally got to do always the whole thing. Totally. Right. But then Google Maps and running the traffic on the interstate it's like the bomb diggity. Isn't that what you kids today say? I think that's what you kids are saying. You got hurt at work after and you're waiting on a third surgery. UPS fired me? Oh, no, they can't fire you. Oh, well, wait a minute now. They would have to pay you your workman's comp. That they do have to pay you your workman's comp, but they could let you go if you can't do your job. But you should still have that covered if it was hurt at work, which it is, right? So they should still be covering your repairs and maybe a lifetime payout or whatever. If it gets too bad, you might be able to get a workman's comp layer. Their pay is limited to a percentage of your income by law, a low percentage of any settlement you get. So if you don't have one, you may want to consider getting one. Yeah, look, Sandy Man, right, yes. Google Maps and cross-reference it totally, right? Use all the tools that we have, for sure. But especially people that just start out, they don't have all this money. You know, I know some of you out there balling, but some people don't have all that money. See how I got all the terms, right? But look, Google Maps is free. Most people, 90% or more people probably already have a phone, so they can run Google Maps. 25 years, nice. I need to check into Fortune Trans. All right. Can you stay on the clock while doing videos? What do you mean? It depends what you're doing on the clock to be on videos. Oh, if you're paid by the hour? No, you shouldn't. If you're paid by the hour, if that's what you're talking about, at a company and you're doing a video, unless it pertains to the company, you should not be on the clock, right? Well, you're being paid on the clock. If you're an hourly driver, you should be working for your company, whatever it is. Every clock person should do their job, certainly. Transponders on every vehicle, on every speed sign. Oh, as vehicle passes, top speed is adjusted. That's interesting, D-boy. So we put a receiver in your vehicle, and then everywhere there's a speed limit change, your vehicle's top speed changes to match that speed, car or truck, and nobody speeds anymore. I wonder how that would go over. I didn't read your whole comment. Speed limiters are not the answer. Look, I don't like speed limiters. I totally agree. You had to settle. Oh, you settled it already? You shouldn't settle workman's comp before you're done with treatment. Because you're still treating the thing, so we don't know your long-term, your total long-term thing. You shouldn't settle it yet. But if you did, I guess you already took the settlement. Yikes. So, okay, I've seen some of these, Haddish, right? If you pump the accelerator 2 or 3 times on cruise, you get a couple more miles an hour. For how long, though? How long do you get 2 more miles an hour? And that's not a lot to pass somebody, I guess. Called a drive cam company, pretended to be a company owner, and find out if your dispatcher can watch you whenever they want. What do they say? Because they're on their website, they say they can do it. So, GT Joe, you're quite welcome, right? I do this live show free every Monday. Can you do a check on system transport? Expending too much time waiting at the truck stop for... Look, Lewis, right? If you're waiting, they should be paying you. If you're not being paid, you should... Everybody, tell them, look, I'm sitting around too much, not being paid. There's tons of jobs. What are we going to do about this here? What are we going to do about it? We can't just sit around and not get paid. I mean, totally. 30 years you've hauled crude and all these other... yeah, right, reefer... Right, once you get some time, you've pulled most of the trailers. If you move around a little bit, I agree, right. Most of that stuff, I haven't pulled diesel or anything like that, but not crude. I pulled a suction truck, right, a cryo tanker with liquid nitrogen, stuff like that. 31-year driver. Southern Cal Transport in Beaverton. Back to the West Coast. I've had some requests for West Coast companies, by the way. You should get paid for everything. You should get paid for all your time. The best way to get paid, which I've always said, is hourly plus overtime. That's why, which was recommended, and I did that ABF video. Okay, they get paid for all of their time. And the point of that is that if people, drivers, would stick together like they do at ABF and other union companies, you can get paid for all your time. Why drivers don't do that is always surprise to me around the industry. But all the time should be paid. That's work. That's work time. It should be paid time, for sure. Why not get paid for it, right? The load that made you the most nervous was propane. Oh, just driving a bomb around, that bothers you a little bit? On the trucks, you could bump the cruise by 2 indefinitely. Oh, and our trucks be limited to 65 and 67 on cruise. Yeah, okay, so 2 bump it. At least you can get past a little bit. It should go the speed limit of wherever you are, certainly. You had a guy hand you a business card at a fuel pump, said he's a plumber, and developed a sanitary urinal system for drivers called Road Relief. Yikes. I don't even know what to say about that. Did you call him? Is that a legit thing? Is it more sanitary than the general Gatorade bottle that I see at the fuel pumps? You drove an own trucks in the 70s. Wow. Redneck resales. But there's now no way I would own a truck. Yeah, it's not for everybody. It isn't for me. It's a tough go of it. But, the only way I think to do it is to own it and get your authority. I think if you keep most of the money, you got a better chance of making it. The more people that are in it when you're lease purchasing and all that, splitting that payoff from you, the worse off you are. You want the least hands in that pot. Get most of the pot that you can. Get your own loads with your own authority and keep the money, and then maybe you can make it doing the same job that everybody else, does. You can get more of that money, maybe up 90% of it or more. He has a website. Well, that's got to be a hoot to look at that. I can't imagine what's on there. Oh, Matthew, what's going on? Yeah, thanks. I love doing that. I like doing the companies that are doing good too, so that people have, it's always a big contrast every week of how bad, we go from 30 cents to 50 some cents in a day. It's really something that the lower paying companies can even get anybody in there to do anything. Technically, you're exempt from overtime, working hourly. Yes, that's correct. You are legally exempt from it. That doesn't mean you shouldn't get paid it, and a lot of places, like ABF, pay it. So because we're exempt from it, doesn't mean we shouldn't be paid it. For sure. We should get hourly plus overtime, exempt or not. And some companies do pay it, like we found out with ABF, and a lot of other companies I have found pay overtime. Lots of them pay it. I should do a video of all the companies that pull doubles. Usually if they're pulling doubles, I found they're generally better than other companies, like ABF and Yellow and Old Dominion, which I like here in Indianapolis, and other, in other places. Estes seem to pay good. All these doubles companies seem to pay better. So there may be something to that. You made great money back then, and I went downhill. Thanks to Uncle Jimmy. Wow. Bringing him up out of the woodwork. Yikes. And using adult Pampers. That, I don't know about that. I think some drivers do that. How about we just stop every once in a while? You pulled 48 doubles for Domino's Pizza. Where'd you pull that? Not here. Maybe on the toll road. That's a lot of pizza, by the way. See if it pays overtime for anything over 8 hours a day. Yeah, exactly. You are exempt from it, but they pay it, and they should pay it. By the way, they're more likely to keep people, I bet, if they pay it, especially over 8 hours a day. And so that's even better. So you could potentially get overtime every single day. Oh, sure, on the Florida, the Sun Pike, right? The Florida Pike, that's where you're getting your doubles. Exactly. Because you can run them on the Indiana toll road up here. But you couldn't run them on the roads up here. I thought maybe out west, too, they'll run them. Southern Caltrans is dedicated to research fine foods only. Terminals, so they have several, not a common carrier. Okay, good. And that's what I said to someone today on an email on what would be a better choice. I thought, we should do you should look for a private carrier or a carrier like this dedicated to a single customer or some type of logistics thing rather than general freight, because he's looking for a company to go to for their final company. They've been driving for a little while. And that's That's the kind of thing that I totally would agree with, right? I think you're going to get treated better that way, not wait for loads like you used to. Yeah, and by the way, anybody has questions or comments, mark at truckinganswersnation.com, and that's also in the description. You can write to me anytime. I answer every email. Me and my staff, which is me, answer all emails. So I do answer all emails within a day or two. A few guys at Flat Rock plant have been switchers there. Though that wouldn't be a bad job. That's probably a union job at Flat Rock, which the old Mazda plant, right? It's a Ford plant up there. Didn't they make Focuses? Maybe no. Focus was made in Wayne. My Focus was made in Wayne, Michigan. Do I think they'll change the hours of service? Yes. And Martinez, that guy, right? He's on top of that. And so they are saying 30 minutes likely gone. That's what I think. Or at worst case, 30 minutes is whenever you want to take it. Okay? Likely split sleeper will be anytime. Won't have to be 2 and 8. It can be 3, 7, 4, 6, like it used to be, with one part at least 2 hours, but doesn't have to be, the other part won't have to be 8 hours. I think that'll happen. They were looking at the 3-hour extra going in there, which I don't like, where you can do a 3 hours, up to 3 hours at your anytime you want off duty and extend your clock. I don't like that at all because it's all unpaid time. I don't want the day to be longer with the same amount of money. That doesn't seem like a good plan to me. You've been driving 16 years in Landstar, right? And that's the next best thing to having your own authority. You get to pick all your loads there, of all the loads they have. And so you get paid, and as long as your paperwork is in. They have a board, right, if I know this right. Every load for Landstar is listed all across the country, and you pick what you want. So you can't really complain that you don't want to go somewhere. You don't have to go there. You choose your load. It shows what it pays. You get to find out in advance whatever fuel surcharge there is on it, any accessorial charges, like we pay this for tolls or whatever. And you can just choose whatever you want to do. You don't want to work tonight? Don't get a load till tomorrow. No problem. Pretty good deal. UPS Freight pays 68 cents a mile pulling anytime plus any drop on hook time. So basically what you're saying there also is pretty much all your time is paid. So you stop, drop, and hook, get paid on the clock, then get back out 68 cents. That's excellent. As long as that's not 1099. I know a lot of people are 1099ing some people. Like FedEx does a lot of that. They have independent contractors that then 1099 their people. They run those ads. I don't like that idea. Do I see the 5-5 split sleeper? Yes. I see any kind of split returning as long as one part is at least 2 hours. They've been talking about it. Drivers want it. I think it will come back. It'll be next year. Let's hope on that. I think so. It'll make it a lot easier. The split will be less complicated than it is now. So we get a lot of log violations for that. Your employment history is shady. You've been self-employed doing handiwork. Will that be an issue? No, you just have to be able to prove what you're doing. You won't have truck driving experience. All they want is proof. So you'll have to be able to prove what you've been doing. And Uber, you can prove that. They have a printout. So that's work, no problem. The handiwork, I don't know. You might tell them you've been unemployed that time. You put an application at ABF. Oh, good. Good. Let us know how it goes there. I mean, they're running ads around the country for people, and you're going to get paid for all your time. I mean, what could be better than that? Let us know how it goes. I know it's a seniority-based system there, so you won't get a regular schedule for a while, but once you're in, you get a pension and a retirement. I mean, holy mackerel. Oh, they make Mustangs and Lincolns there. You work 12-hour shifts. You need people switching there. Wow. It's only 19. Are you putting 19 as $19 an hour? Wow. $19 an hour, maybe 20 moves in a 20-hour shift? Wow. Oh, okay, 20 moves. All right, that's still low at a Ford plant. Are you not union there? I thought it'd be more than that at the plant. But you're not doing that many moves. 2 moves an hour. All right. So for $19, you're basically making $30 an hour for the actual work that you're doing. Okay, Tito, that's W-2. All right, that's good then. 68 cents W-2 employee, workman's comp included. I'm in. That's why I tell everybody also, look, get your endorsements. Have them on your license. When an opportunity comes up, you're ready to go take it. You can say, look, I've had this doubles for years. Or whatever, if it comes down to that. I've had it for years, and that's true. Oh, doubles? Oh, I've had doubles for a decade. That's what you tell them. That's what you tell them, because it's true. and then you get that job. And they're not hard like people think they are. Doubles are not hard to do. Believe it. Can I touch on the fuel surcharge? Yeah, Robert. I don't know that much about fuel surcharge, but look on what it's going to be to each company. Each company pays it a little different. There's a surcharge, and it can be based on fuel mileage. So, example, 6 miles to the gallon. And people are going to write immediately saying that's wrong. Here's the example. So, at 6 miles to the gallon, $1.25 for fuel is zero. And then every 6 cents it goes up in price, that's 6 miles to the gallon, you get a penny. So if the price is $1.31 average at the pump, you get a penny. So right now it's $3.25, basically $3.50. So that's what, $2.50, $2.25, right, over the $1.25. Divided by 6 is 42 cents or so would be the fuel surcharge this week. That's added per mile to an owner-operator that gets a fuel surcharge. And that changes generally on Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, when the government releases the price, the average price of fuel each week. It goes up or down each week. And it would be in the owner-operator's contract exactly how they're paid and, what it is. It might be 7 miles to the gallon at $1.25. And if it was, then it would be every 7 cents the price went up, it would go up on a penny. So then it would take another cent at the pump, you get less fuel surcharge. So you want the mile per gallon to be as low as possible in your contract so you get the highest fuel surcharge going. And then when your truck gets the higher fuel mileage, you get more money. And eventually, if you get enough fuel mileage over that amount, fuel eventually becomes free, which is great. They make, okay, I'm a little behind, right? Extending your day is actually safer. If you're tired and you pull over about not making on-time delivery. I'm not a fan of it, Guillermo. I'm just not, because, look, the 14 hours should be long enough. 14 hours should be a plenty. The 17 hours, you're not going to get paid for those 3 hours. So I don't like any time that's not being paid. I understand people get tired or whatever, but as soon as you do that, companies are going to be all over that. They're going to be like, you got 3 extra hours here. And maybe they can't make you do it, but they will push you to do it. And they do that by saying, since you don't want to extend your day or whatever, we don't have any loads. It'll be an unspoken kind of thing. That's how it's going to happen. That will happen. And they'll push people to do that. And they'll certainly push people to use that 3 hours at a dock, for sure. You got this 3 hours, you can still drive. So I'm not a fan, and we're not being paid for it. So just that is enough for me to not be a fan of it. So not a huge fan. Why do truck drivers get stuck with ticking 14-hour clock when that disappeared? UPS Freight owner-operator is pitiful. Well, apparently UPS Freight for company drivers is awesome at 68 cents. They make you take 2 30-minute breaks some days. Who's they? That's number one. If it's your company, they can do that. They can they can have policies that are beyond the legal policy. The law is a minimum. You have to take a 30-minute break. The company can say you have to take 4 30-minute breaks every day. They're allowed to do that, and then you'd have to follow their company policy on that, for sure. Now, if they're not paying you, then you have to decide and go, hey, you're not paying me for these breaks. We got to do something about this. But the company's allowed to do it. Why they make you do it? I don't know. Probably somebody there had an accident or something, and they go, let's just make people take more breaks. That's usually how that comes up. It doesn't make any sense. I'm sure there's no sense to it. Ask them what they say. Why do we have to take another break? And they'll be like, so you're rested up. Or it'll be some corporate gobbledygook for sure. All the drivers should agree on it and shut our trucks down at the same time for a 34-hour restart. I don't think that would ever happen, right? You were going to go to rail, but they didn't seem so great. I don't know. They have a lot of different home time things, which I like. You could be off as much as 26 weeks a year or home every weekend or whatever, and they pay you while you're in school. So, I like that program. What we need to do, this is what I've said, right? Rather than everybody striking, it's not going to help because each company pays differently. You need to go to one company, a large company. Werner, let's pick Werner because we haven't picked on them for a while. And we get every driver there to stop driving at, say, noon Monday. All the trucks just pull over, legal, to park legally, and everybody sends in a message to their dispatch at one company like Werner. We're not driving until you talk to Joe in truck, whatever. One person's got to be the point person on it. And then they don't drive until you get a raise there. Okay, and they'll threaten to fire you. What are they gonna fire 4,000, 6,000 drivers and leave trucks everywhere? They can't. Okay, and so what'll happen is they'll have to cave, and then you use that. You might have to do it a couple companies, you use it. But what happens then is you just go to the next company, go, okay, you're next. We're gonna talk raise here, or you're getting shut down. And then the whole industry folds. You have to do it one at a time in a large company. The whole country, it's not going to work because every place, what do you want? So you want a nickel. The next place, somebody else there really needs 20 cents. Someplace here wants 5 cents. It varies because the pay varies. One company at a time. You shut them down. They can't fire everybody. No matter what they say, we'll fire everybody. All right. What, 4,000 trucks with loads are all over the country fired? No. Does not happen. So that's how you do it, and you just, maybe the next one goes, oh, you're not going to do it here, you do it there, and by the third one, they're shaking in their boots because they're going to watch all their trucks pull over at the same time with a message that says, we don't drive until you talk to Joe, or whatever the guy's name is. He tells us when we're going to move. How long do you think you got to sit there? An hour? Hour and a half when they look at their boards, all their boards on the walls, have all these boards, and look at every one of their trucks stopped? Not long. You wouldn't even you could probably do it on a 30-minute break and not even lose any time in your day before you got a message to roll again. That's how you have to do it. The whole nation, no way. No way. Dart pays 300 a day, that'd be great. Right. Power steering. Yeah, I mean, come on, cell phones. Who wants to go back the way it was, right? Safer trucks. So many drugged up asphalt cowboys on the trucker turnarounds, right? The West Coast turnarounds. That driver that was 30 years, you remember all those little pills that they used to have at the 76, right by the counter. They'd have this whole counter stack of West Coast turnaround pills, right? You're like driving like this after 4 days. I'm still awake. Right. Good. Yeah, right. Wild Bill, exactly. Get your endorsements. They stand your license your whole life, except for hazmat, for sure. Yeah, look, nobody's telling you to take drugs. I just think it's funny, right? You drove past the Newsbound terminal 5 days a week in the last year. You should go in there and talk to him. There are always 20 to 30 bobtails. One of them's waiting for you. There's now 4 to 6 trucks. Oh, after my review? Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. You think that's me? Look, I'm just some guy, right, who does a couple videos, okay? I didn't get thousands of people. I'd love to take credit for that, but, maybe a couple people called or whatever. I don't know. We can't pin all that on me. I appreciate it, though. I'm not, I don't have that kind of power to fill up that many trucks. That'd be great, though. Why are the motor coach guys not stuck with a 14-hour ticking clock when truck drivers are stuck? They do have motor coach. I don't know the 100% of the rules of motor coach, okay? But they do have log rules as well. And a lot of them have 2 drivers in them. They have a little sleeper thing over the luggage compartment, right? And there's 2 drivers in some of those trucks. In some of the buses, I've seen them in there. Donald, thank you, right? Smith Transport, well, they always are hiring there, right? Matthew, I agree. Places are going to abuse it. Do I think having different sets of restrictions based on what you're doing would be a good idea? No, because people would abuse that. And it's hard enough for the DOT. Half of them don't know how to enforce the hours that they have now. Much less if they had all these different enforcement things, that'd be an even bigger nightmare. And plus the training of people in all these different ones. I mean, I don't know about that. That would take forever. Companies would have a legitimate thing to say, look, this costs us more money. It's a lot of money now just to keep the people trained in the hours and laws that we have now, much less training them in all these different stuff. Right. Yeah, look, Guillermo, I understand. But an owner-operator is the same way, okay? He should be able to make, he or she, right, should be able to make money in 14 hours a day. You really should. If you have to work 17 hours, I don't think you're making any money at the end of the week. You haven't really made any money if you have to pull in 17-hour days. That's 2 days of work for a regular person. No, so I'm not a fan even for owner-operators. ABC Food Trading in Dallas is a good food service company. They started $1,500 a week. That's excellent. That is excellent. And presumably they're home every day. Maybe not, though. Thanks, Donald. I appreciate it. Warner keeps America moving. Yes, that's correct. I forgot about that. So by stopping Warner, it stops the whole country. By default, it says so. They're not allowed to post stuff on their trailer or have them out unless it's the law, unless it's true. Dustin, thank you. Good. GTORJOE, right? Pontiac, thank you. I appreciate it for subscribing. Appreciate all my subscribers, right? Pulled in the mountains in West Virginia in a big frog, called the receiver, and they cussed you out. Nice. Right. You explained that you have their load, and do they want it today or next week? Yeah. You know, when you have their load, yeah, I would hang up on them if they're going to cuss me out. And we'll talk later. You know, that's how it is. Tito, nice. Trucking presidency. What's the pay on that? Hopefully close to the current presidency. And where do I go to get that? That's awesome. Red Nixon, resale. You're 62. Awesome. What do I think about going back to the original hours of service? 10, 8, and 15, right? No 14-hour. No, you had a 15-hour day, though, right? And keep the e-log mandate to shut up the feds. You didn't have the 30 minutes. You didn't have a 14-hour day, but you had a 15-hour rolling day, right? Which you could stop at any time by going off duty or in the sleeper berth. So you, in effect, could extend your day. But there was also a 15-hour cap on your day. And then you had to take an 8-hour break for people that don't remember that. You had a 15-hour day. So it could start and end basically whenever you want. 2 hours, then 2 hours off duty. All off duty or sleeper time extended your day. You then had to take 8 hours off once you've exhausted that, and then you could restart. No 30-minute break. It's a 15-hour day. And then we got to retrain everybody in that because a lot of people now never rolled under that thing, those hours. So then everybody would have to be retrained again in that when we just get everybody figured out in this, including half the DOT officers. Jeff, hello. Thanks for popping in there. CRST is governed speed. You know, I got passed Friday by a CRST truck, and I couldn't believe it. I thought, what is going on here? How much? Mad Maldi, hello. Thanks for coming in. Texas has your own rules, and Florida has their own rules. Nice. Texas, well, everything's bigger there. You need your own rules. Shutting will be difficult because of opinion of large companies that foreign drivers who work for less will quickly replace the American drivers because we demand a better. All right, look. What is the percentage of drivers that would accept less there? I mean, you don't have to shut every truck down either. If they have 5,000 trucks, if you pulled a couple of thousand trucks over, that's a big deal. Okay, just all you have to do is get a good percentage of the trucks at a large company. It'd be nice if everybody stopped, but they wouldn't. So it's got to be a significant number. And if you all pulled over at the same time and sent a message, it would send a message. I'd say, you know, you need 40, 50% of the trucks at least to pull over. 8 people, it's not going to do it. But if you got a large number of trucks, I think it could be something. Truck drivers just do the math and see they're working for free. They'll realize that they're suckers. Right. Look, Donald, you can't work 17 hours a day and then tell me you're making any money because you have no life. You've given up literally your entire life to have a paycheck, and there's no way anybody wants to do that. Yeah, it's great to go make money, but you know, I don't put that out on this channel as money is the 100% of everything. You know, you got to have some kind of life too, otherwise you wouldn't going to die with all your money filling your casket up. I mean, that isn't any good either. If you don't have a life, the money doesn't do you any good. You're supposed to make money so you could have a life. 17 hours, I'm not a fan of it for anybody. They need to pay more so that in 14 hours we get paid enough. That's enough time. That's why you don't call them to report things. I don't work for the shipper. Oh, if they have an issue, you can take it up with your company. Yeah, you know, there's that too, right? Where's U-Haul? Yeah, where is U-Haul? He's emailed me a couple times this week and haven't heard from him today, though. You just saw a notification about drivers are suing Warner. What are they suing Warner for? Or what aren't they suing Warner for? So you, Marty, you think 22%? So 1 out of every 5 trucks? Yeah, okay. So at a large company of 5,000 trucks, that's 1,000 trucks pull over. That's a lot. They couldn't fill, that's the thing. They couldn't fill the trucks, right? They could not fill that many trucks that fast. So, and they can't just let them all sit there. So it would be significant. Would they give everybody a raise over you? Small, literally small percentage? I don't know. The less that stop, the less power you have. The power, like at ABF, is in the drivers standing together. Like at one single company, and they go, we're not tolerating this anymore. You're going to pay us for a time. We're not driving. Triad used to have limiters on their trucks, and they would not allow the truck to go faster than 20. That was in 1990. Well, I think 20 is a bit low, I think. Another thing that would make the industry better if companies quit brainwashing drivers that fuel bonus. I hate a fuel bonus. I don't like them at companies. I can't determine the different things that make my truck get better fuel mileage. So I get some heavy load, and I got to go west out of Denver, and I got to try to compete with somebody getting a fuel bonus who's rolling across Ohio with, styrofoam balls that for, Hobby Lobby. No way. I don't like it at all. Not a fan of it at all. You make $1,900 a week pulling FedEx doubles on a 5-day work week. Nice. Huh. Is that W-2 or 1099? Michael, thank you very much. You don't think that they will pay drivers good? They'll pay us what we'll accept, and that's almost every industry. You get what you'll take. And that's the problem with drivers. I've seen drivers sitting. I've been to a truck stop and then on Friday, and then I go back there Monday. I've seen the same people there a couple times. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Oh, they don't have a load yet. Well, what are you doing here? You've had the whole weekend to find another job. So when it's something like that, you have to leave. It's a hassle to leave, but if you aren't making any money, you don't really even have a job. It's not worth staying when you're going to sit a ton of time day after day after day. You have to move on. And that teaches them. You go, I'm leaving because you're not paying me anything. They have to know that you're not paying them anything. Tito, yes. I'll let that go out there, right? It's a class action suit on Jay Canal. All right. People can head over to Jay Canal. We'll check that out, why they're suing Werner. All right, Chris, W-2, $1,400 after tax. I'm in then, right. Always, I'm in for W-2. Not for 1099, just for benefits purposes, among other things that you're misclassified. So, right, $1,400 a week, nobody's complaining about that. So, there are people that work the same amount of hours that you work that get, $600 less than that. And I think that's ridiculous. And part of it is we have to look at ourselves, because if you're going to stay at a place that doesn't pay you, I don't know what to say, especially once you get experience. I understand people that start and don't have a lot of experience. They may not have as many choices, although there's still better choices. But look, once you get a year or two, if you're sitting somewhere and they're not paying you and it's constant, you got to leave. Otherwise, you just accept working free, which you would never allow your kid or anybody else to work at a warehouse, or your teenager at McDonald's. The same thing you wouldn't allow there, you can't allow for yourself. You got to put some value on your own time, right? And come out there and go, look, my time's valuable. You're going to pay for it, or I'm going to go somewhere to give somebody my time that will give me money for it. Why does the United States of America, answer this honestly, all right? Why does the United States of America always think they're better than any other country in the world? Why do they look down? I don't know about that. I don't speak for the United States. I just speak for me, and I love it here. So you won't find me moving anywhere else. This House Hunters International, right? You won't find me leaving this country for sure. But, I don't speak for the whole country, but I will tell you this. People, I don't see people walking, anywhere else to get any place else. That's for sure. I see thousands of people walking this way. They're not walking south. People come here. So, that's the deal. You can be and do anything you want in the United States. Look, we can change an entire industry right here. And that doesn't happen in other places. I would have already been put in a gulag in many countries, for sure. Jeff? Oh, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming in, too. I do, as you know, right? I know you've been on here, right? We do this every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So everybody pop in and tell your friends. Yes, Guillermo, exactly. There's some people in every country that are no good, haters that, should not be around. I'm for everybody willing to work, right? Come here illegal, willing to work, I'm in. There's plenty for everybody to do. Your DM goes to war for you. You've had shippers receivers get mouthy. Look, Mad Maldy, right, and wait off the property goes. I agree. That's what you need, right? And that's how a company keeps people. It isn't 100% pay. That's exactly the thing I'm talking about. It's not 100% pay. Now, look, you can't accept a quarter a mile because it's ridiculous. But if you're getting paid properly, a good round of pay, and a company that will back you up, you're not going to leave for a little bit of extra money because that kind of thing is invaluable. You want to make an extra dime and have a company say, we don't care about you? That's not worth it. That's so frustrating. The day is hard enough when I call the company and I expect that company to back me up and go, that's our driver, get him out of there or whatever, and take my side of it at least initially, till we find out what's going on. James, we have nicer trucks. Yeah, that varies too, right? If you've seen some of the trucks that run containers around Chicago. You're quite welcome, William. Any question, trucking or not, is honestly, mostly. The DM will call you back and they're mostly respectful. Yes. All they need is to be put in their place once in a while because they're used to disrespecting drivers and drivers just take it. I have a sign on my website which gives me a chance to plug truckinganswersnation.com that an astute driver sent in. I have a gallery on there. You can go look at it in the gallery. It's got, drivers, all the things about drivers. You need to pay $5 for this. You can't do this. Don't do these things. That kind of thing is ridiculous. Okay, and I've had people now talk about shippers and receivers that don't have bathrooms for drivers. And I personally, look, this is 30 years. I've never experienced that. But I do think it happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm sure it happens, right? You should make a list. If somebody made a list of where these places were, I would post it. Because they wanted me to compile it, but I don't even know where they are. I've never had that happen to me. Any place I've ever gone had a bathroom available, although generally sometimes it looked like a bathroom that had just been through a war zone. But still, so if there's places without bathrooms, I'll post a list if you'll compile it. But I can't get it compiled. I'd have to call every place in the whole country. That would take a while. I have to get started soon. I need an assistant. Maybe I should put an ad on Craigslist for an assistant to start calling. Will the EPA recognize hydrogen on-demand generator that some of us owner-operators have our trucks to emit emissions? Well, your 2005, will it meet current emissions with a hydrogen on-demand generator? And why wouldn't they recognize it? If it meets emissions, why is it not recognized? I mean, that's an actual good question. If this is something that meets emissions, what's the difference on how you meet the emissions? If the tailpipe emissions meet the EPA standards, that should be all that matters, right? That's what they want. So if you're doing that, what's the problem? And hydrogen, it's everywhere, right? There's one of them right there. It goes, a hydrogen thing went by right there. Atom. See it? There's another one. I don't know. Look. If you can meet the emissions, seriously, what's the problem? What's the problem? What do they care? Portal potty stink. They do, Paul, but some places are saying that there's no bathroom at all. And then, so the drivers, of course, right, are going outside. And that's why I'd like to find out what some of these places are. I'd like to write them an email to their, so send me some of these places, right? I'll send their corporate office an email saying, hey, the drivers have to go to bathroom outside. Is that what you want to be walking around in by your car? Because, a lot of times the corporation doesn't know that. They don't have any idea. They think everything is fine. Usually if you get somebody up there, there's going to be somebody to make a phone call and get the bathroom open. Really. I think really that would happen. Dropped at a place that fined your company if you didn't slide your tandems back. Yeah, look, Sam, I agree. Sometimes they won't slide, right? For them fining you is crazy. Can't they, what's that take them, 2 seconds? And did the one you pick up, if you drop there, did the one you picked up have them slid? Sometimes they're not slid either. And for all we know, honestly, they could just fine the company just to get money. Oh, you didn't slide him. How do you prove you slid him? You have to take a picture of him or you'd have to set up a video of yourself sliding him right there. So these kind of stupid things, right, I'm not a huge fan of. Especially if it's an owner-operator that owns it, they're going to fine that person. So there, right, that isn't right. How do you prove you slid them? Although I don't know if too many of them own their own trailer and then drop it. Is Walmart getting better at receiving anyone delivered to these places recently? We'll say places. No, probably not. And with Christmas, I don't know. Who's going to Walmart? I know I have a night driver for Walmart, but he's on a Walmart dedicated, so he probably gets a different deal going into Walmart. Who's taking general freight into Walmart out there? Good starter company in Chicago that is not Swift. Well, Rail's over there in Gary, which I like, but not everybody does. They're right around the corner in Gary. And you don't have to just work at a company in Chicago. And there's tons of local jobs in Chicago. Oh my gosh. You and your brother going to U.S. Express to run teams. Yikes. Would anyone happen to know the weekly pay? Look, pounding the pavement. I don't, from what I understand here, U.S. Express, not the highest paying company in the world, right? In the 30s. What'd they offer you? In the 30 cents range a week to team? They must have said, if you know you're going there, what did they say you're going to split at U.S. Express? I want to see that number on here in a second. HEB in San Antonio has no restrooms for drivers and you wait for hours. That's ridiculous. Right, and right next to the Alamo, it should be illegal. I mean, come on. No, but seriously, when you say I need to go to the bathroom, what do they say? Too bad? I guess what they tell you, go outside and just sweat it out in the humidity? I mean, and that's a food service place of all things, right? HEB? You don't believe a strike will work, people won't stick behind it. Boycott a state, drivers are not, that's less likely to be able to go through. Okay, boycotting a certain state won't happen because drivers would be required to fuel or deliver there as company drivers. And so turning down a specific load, I think, doesn't do as much good to the industry as striking a certain company, a particular company. Pick them. It's got to be a big company. It can't be with somebody with 4 trucks. Big company. Shut them down. Have them call somebody. You'll get a raise before your 30-minute break is over. And then you start calling other places. You tweet that out and everything. Get that out there in the news. And then you make another phone call and go, guess what, Mr. England or whatever, you're next. Monday, your trucks get shut down. That's how you make change. One at a time. They all fall individually because the companies also won't stand together. A few months ago, you woke up to a driver between your trailers, we'll say. This was the Loves. Sandy, man. Look, a couple weeks ago, I caught a driver going to the bathroom on the fuel island. I'm like, the door's right there, dude. What are you doing? I didn't have my phone. It was on the truck, or I would have taken a video of him and posted that. Because that's crazy. Walk inside, people. Do we have to say that? We're adults here. People are so late. Just get so lazy. You need to walk anyway. Go walk inside. You've been sleeping all night or whatever. Come on. Should new drivers train in the winter? Heck yeah, man. Or should you wait till the spring? Get out there while the getting's good. Plus, what state are you in? But it doesn't matter, right? I'm just curious. Get out there, get trained up in the winter. You're going to have to drive through the winter anyhow, right? Everybody with me on training in the winter? Heck yeah. Where are you? Your experience was awful with Walmart. They averaged 2 hours. Well, that's less than I've been hearing, right? Your company moved to an hour only before detention, so that might affect. Yeah, and they're probably charging them. And so the ones that get charged are the ones that get out. Exactly. See how that works? Once they got to pay you, then they're all about getting you out of there because they're trying to get it from the place, for sure. Guillermo, on the grocery side. Why not so on produce to get a bathroom? That's ridiculous. Somebody needs to tell HEB that they don't have any bathrooms. Chicago has tons of low clearance bridges. Now, I don't know if they do it anymore. I've moved away from Chicago, but that was one of my first local jobs at Economy Transport, and they used to sell a map at all the gas stations, a truck driver map, had every single bridge mapped out on it with a color. 13.6 or better was green, and then 13 to 13.6 was yellow, and then under that was red. This was a paper map, okay? So this was before the dinosaurs, but it's probably electronic now, to be honest with you. Very, very helpful. And running around locally in Chicago gave me a great chance to get all the bridges learned. So I knew some of them are not marked right. Remember that, drivers, especially new drivers. Because a bridge says 13.7 doesn't mean it's 13.7. And I'll tell you this, in Chicago, because it says 13.2 doesn't mean it's 13.2. It might be 14 feet. It takes them a lot longer to change the signs than to change the bridges. And as we go into winter, the 13.7, 13.8, right, it's got snow under it, right? So now there's no room now. They used to be able to get under it. Now you can't get under it. Consider that. Go very slowly on these close bridges if you know the bridges that are really close, okay? It's a concern. This everywhere in the country. There's not as much clearance in the wintertime. So be careful. But they used to have a map for that, which is probably on the internet thing now. The worst thing you could do and is ask a truck driver is the pay. Me and my brother work at the same company doing the same job, but you get paid double. Nice. Trucking is not one size fits all. Yes, that's true, right? Everybody gets paid different in it. All right, so you're in New York. All right, love it. Get out there, get training, and you're ready to go. I mean, what better time to train than in the wintertime? You'll get a great, you'll get much better training because you're in the winter, so you'll learn all the winter. And by spring, you'll be like, thank God the winter's over. Walmart warehouses are awful, yes. Walmart had you turn off your truck for 6 hours in the winter with no heater. I thought at Walmart you had to drop your trailer and you could pull over somewhere, park, and run the truck. Is that not correct? Do they not do that anymore? I thought that's actually how they made you do it. I thought you had to drop your trailer so that you didn't pull out, but maybe they don't all do it that way. And I don't know that I would tolerate that. I mean, you can't, oh, wait a minute, though, they have a break room. I guess they'd say, well, you can sit in the break room. Yeah, prehistoric maps, exactly. You had to unfold this big thing, put it in your glove compartment, where all your gloves are. In Philly, where you live, the mayor started a flat fee to airport to all the cabbies. Circled us home for days and beeped. Not sure why truckers can't band together. Yeah, I don't understand it. The cabbies are getting something. There are drivers that sit around, not being paid, and they don't do anything about it. And I don't know what to say about it. I mean, it's got to be the only industry where people will tolerate volunteering at their work. The same thing they would never allow their teenager to do at a fast food restaurant. But drivers do it all the time, and I just don't understand it, I guess. I don't know why they do it. Speed limiters are coming whether we like it or not. I don't know about that. A lot of companies do it, but I don't know that it'll be, a corporate speed limiter thing. Where it's the government, I don't know. There's still there'll be a super lot of pressure to not do that. Maybe. A lot of company drivers, yeah, most company trucks are speed limited. I think I only had one place that didn't speed limit me at least to something. A log, nice, Guillermo. A logbook is something they use in the Northwest to mark how many logs are on the trailer. Yes, that's correct. That's awesome. Used to have to unhook. Yeah, that's what I thought, resells. I thought you have to unhook at Walmart. But are they not doing that anymore? Tell me, look, I got to sleep. Oh, tell them you got a CPAP that's got to run. You got a job with Transport America at 48 cents, home on the weekends, but household goods. They need to stop paying that. So you need to at least put the squeeze on them to start paying better. But 48 cents isn't terrible if you're home on the weekends, I guess. You don't go far. It depends. Now, that kind of job is on the line where you could get more, but if you're treated well, it may be worth it. And maybe the benefits are better. I don't like household goods miles, certainly. There's no reason that they shouldn't pay you practical miles today. No reason. I did a blog about that. That's funny. As he plugs his blog at truckinganswersnation.com/blog. Yeah, drop the trailer and pull directly in front. So can't you, Mad Maldy, why can't you run the truck then? Maybe you're in a city that doesn't allow idling. There's got to be a reason why they wouldn't let you run the truck if you drop from it. Walmart's great when you go on the clock when you hit their dock. Yeah, Gary, that's exactly what should happen. When you pull in and they're unloading, you should get paid. I totally agree. Everybody. But I've said that about everybody. Trucking should be an hourly pay thing where you get paid for sure on it. For sure. Well, I want to announce also that next week, right, we've hit 10,000 subscribers, which I say, and I thank every one of you for that. And so we'll be looking at next week. Will be a live giveaway show on this show. I'm going to have a random number generator. Here's how I'm going to do it. And the computer will pick a number. And then I will count back right from then. I'll have a timer. When the timer goes off, the computer will pick a number, and it will go back that many numbers from the commenter, and that commenter will win a prize. How about that? Isn't that going to be great? And I have some Love's gift cards. What do you think about that to give away? And a dash cam. So I'll be giving those things away next week on the Monday live show, and I hope that you will be there to participate. And so everybody that's going to plan to be on there, if you could, to ensure that it's all good, send me your email to mark@truckinganswersnation.com. Put in the email there what your screen name is here so that I ensure that the person that's on the screen name, when I pick, the person gets picked, they're the actual winner. That will just help to ensure if you could do that, right? And I won't use that for anything else, right? I only want it for that live show. So everybody that is interested in that, maybe winning a drive cam or, not a drive cam. Don't win a drive cam, a dash cam. So that will be next Monday for 10,000 subscribers. And then at 20,000, I'm giving away 10 new cars. No, that may not be true. But this at 10,000, no, we're going to have this. So we did pass 10,000 a little bit ago. And so some Love's gift cards will go out. And then what I'll do is email you, or I'll say on here, and you can email me, and I'll get your address, and I'll send it to you. And I hope it's supposed to be here by the 6th. So that's next Tuesday. But if it's here sooner, I could show it to you. If not, it'll be on the 6th. So that is what's going on next week. Live giveaway show. Exciting. It'll be a big show. Tell your friends. And if you could, email me with your screen name, because you don't always have your name there. And some of you don't have any way to contact you through YouTube. So I won't have any way to contact you. So that would be great if you can do that. So that's what I'm saying at that. So Cynthia, I'm starting training in a man truck next Monday. Thank you. What is a man truck? A new federal law that drivers must pay for all. There's no, not yet. Working on it. Working on it. I haven't looked at Lone Star Transportation. Some places don't have much information either. The more information that you have that you can give me is very helpful. All trucks with a computerized engine are speed limited. Well, that like your car too, right? There's a number in there. It may be super high. I totally agree. Yeah, okay, Pontiac, good work, good. New job, wintertime. Excellent. Get here on the road and get some money. Get some of this money and get a career. You have a career for the rest of your life. Sandy, man, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see you next Monday on the giveaway show. Anthony, thank you. And thanks for subscribing. I appreciate it. Brandon took a shipment to Walmart last week in New Albany. They still required you to uncouple from the trailer and park in a corral. That's what I thought, right? Oh, they had signs that read no idling. Nice. Well, but they have a break room. I guess the theory then, you can go inside, right? They all have a break room in there, don't they? They got machines, right? I remember that. I've been at Walmart warehouses, right? They got break rooms and stuff in there. So I guess they're saying, go into the break room and sit there. Transport America, awesome. All right, apparently they have HHG miles, but, that's still something. Let us know how it goes. I just didn't know what man was. Winter gear, please. Yeah, that's a good idea, right? Maybe some gloves, right? A truck a man lives in. Yeah, okay. Oh, I see, right. Well, I thought actually, because I get some people from Europe, I thought MAN, which is a company that makes trucks. Man trucks. Okay. Christopher's in the Philly Elliott. Well, it got retracted. What the heck's going on, right? I may make a video on how it used to be. Yeah, you should make a video on how trucking used to be, right? To let people know that it's much better now. People like the old days? No. You don't like the old days. You like it today. Even with the regulation, it's better than it was. When I started the truck and it has air conditioning, it's better. Right. Oh, thank you, Light Bright. I appreciate it. Same there, back to you. Yeah, MAN is a European truck company. That's correct. Right. That's what I was thinking. That's what I thought. Maybe she's from Europe. I don't know. There are people, from all over the world. It's an international, worldwide thing. So, right. Yeah, resales, look, it's better today. People always want to go back. They think like the good times were behind them, but your good times are always ahead of you. So they have electronic stuff or whatever. You shouldn't be running over, of course, right? And you shouldn't be doing any of the things. So it shouldn't be any problem today. Air conditioning, the trucks are much better. It's so quiet in there. I mean, holy mackerel. You used to have an air-operated, or at least I did. I had air-operated windshield wipers and air-operated passenger windows and air-operated steering wheel. A total disaster. Joshua's late. That's all right. Costco union truck trailer driver earned hourly wages of $22.87, $47,570 for 40 hours, though. That's 40 hours. They probably get more hours than that. And 50 grand for 40 hours, that's not terrible. Think about that. If that guy's working 40 hours, he's got a life. There are people out here trying to get me to work 17 hours a day. I answer every post. I try to answer every post. Sometimes it gets crazy and I get behind. I do answer every email, guaranteed, right? You're from Maryland. All right, it's still the time to get into it, right? You figured a man truck was a long-nosed Pete. Nice. They need his 22 and a half hour clock. That's crazy. That one guy at work said this, who may be watching, right? Somebody said something about the Marines, right? And look, I'm a big supporter or whatever, but he said, you were in the Marine. Wasn't that a division of the Navy? That's what they asked him. And he goes, yeah, the man's division. So I thought that was super interesting. Are nationwide truckers against Teamsters? For some reason, drivers don't like unions, but they all want to strike together. But then I say, well, join a union. Oh, I hate unions. They're terrible. Well, striking together is exactly what a union company does, and that's why ABF gets paid for all their time, and most people don't because they don't stick together. So I don't know what the problem is with it, Why people don't want to join or whatever, I don't know. I'm not a union, but I'm a fan of them, but I'm not in one. I would like there to be one everywhere. That pay was certainly better. Like everybody can remember back to that. Oil fields are in Texas and Dakotas, right? You work for rail. It's good if you want to be local. I like rail's training program. I've said, and they have all kinds of home time options for everybody. You can be gone for weeks, or you can be home 26 weeks a year, and everything in between. And they have local jobs too. They have a lot of different options. So when you get on there, if what you're doing you don't like, there's other things to go to, and that's better than having to change jobs. You don't have to quit and go somewhere else. You can work, stay right where you are, keep your benefits, and just do something different. And so that's better. Let's see. What times do I drive? I drive afternoons. I love the afternoon, right? And into the night. Give me the nights and the afternoon. Scales are closed, less traffic, right? Less things to deal with. So that's what I prefer. RTI needs to be my crap company of the week. What's the problem over there? 3 weeks into the job with ShipX. All right, Johnny, that's interesting. ShipX was my good company some weeks ago. I love the place. That would be, if I was going to be gone for weeks at a time, that's where I recommend people go because of the pay system. Are you getting miles at ShipX? Are they rolling to these long 1,400 plus length of haul average miles? That's what I really want to know from ShipX. Your first truck was a 62 white Freightliner. Nice. 4x4 mechanical seat, no power steering, 4-spring suspension. How'd that ride on the road? Pretty good? No. Who wants to go back to that? And no Jake. Yes, I started out no Jake as well on the road. On my first road job at Regal, we did have a Kenworth T600, but it didn't have any Jake brakes on it. They didn't put Jakes in them yet. You work for Summit in Clarksville. Nice. South of, I'll be going by you in March at the truck show. Everybody should show up there at the last weekend in March. Be sure to go to Mid-America Truck Show in Louisville. I'll be there the whole weekend, broadcasting live, as much of it as I can. Crap Company of the Week trophy gets given out there, and the trucking company doing it better for excellence in transportation will get a trophy if they're there. These companies may not be there, remember. So that part I can't promise, but I can promise I'll be there. So come down and say hi. Stopping clock is only good if you're trying to get home. Yeah, we want to run legal all the time, because if they think you run legal part of the time illegal, they think you run illegal the rest of the time. You were anti-union your whole life till you realize the union guys 40 years and older had more than me. Well, stuff, of course, is not a measure of anything, but they're getting more than you, certainly. Because they'll stick together to get paid for their time. You wouldn't have to work 17 hours a day if you got paid for the whole 14 hours you're already working. Think about that. How many hours are you not being paid for? What if you got paid for all that time? You wouldn't need 3 extra hours a day. You'd already get paid for the time that you're already working. That's what I want people to see. I'm not, anti-resting or whatever. Certainly if you're tired, you should stop. But the reason that people want this is I don't want to go through traffic or whatever, because, they want to get paid for their time. And because we're not being paid, that's the problem. And so if everybody got hourly with overtime, you wouldn't need 3 more hours. That's what I think. All right, Johnny, excellent. That's what I love. That's what I love on the road. Long miles. You don't have to unload and unload every day, which wastes time. And this place claimed a lot of drop and hook, right? I didn't work there, so So if you're getting long miles, you can roll up a lot of miles and make those big bonuses. And they had nice trucks. And look, I love the place. For if you want to stay on the road, long term, long miles, that's where I would absolutely go. It would be nice if you were your own broker so you can keep all the profits. I wonder if you can broker your own loads. You probably could arrange it with your wife. I'm not an owner operator. I don't see why you couldn't. It'd be a trouble to where you're driving to also do that, but you could have somebody in your family do it and keep the whole money yourself, right? Yeah, you emailed me about Schneider. Yeah, look, Schneider has a lot of different options. Okay, so they'll train you. They have tanks. They have flats. So totally into that kind of thing. I haven't looked into Schneider for their pay, but they're kind of place that has a lot of options as well. So a place with options is good because if what you're doing isn't getting you the miles or home time that you want, you have the option to transfer to something else. So that's the thing at, Rail and Schneider and these places that do these different kind of things. You can get in there and so I don't like this, I'm not making money. You transfer, you don't have to quit. You could just transfer. It's like working for a whole different company, but you keep all the benefits of where you're already at. If it goes to 17, you're out. I think that, I don't know why people want to go to 17 hours. Don't go anywhere. You won't have to leave. But I don't want 3 hours a day added as unpaid time. Here's 3 more hours where we're not paying you. I don't think that's a good plan. I don't want to see that happen. Would parking be better if they went back to the rules, the old rules without the clock? Lots of solar power drivers now on their day at the same time. Well, they wouldn't have to sit as long. You only needed 8 hours off if you're talking about the old rules. We only needed 8 hours, and you could park. You could split your day basically however you wanted it to. You had a 15-hour rolling clock that you could continue to stop. So, would parking be better? A little better. There's still way too many trucks versus parking places, and states keep closing the places down that they already have open. It'll help some, but not much. Schneider is Rand McNally, so they're short miles. That's no good, right? We got to then decide, is the whole deal worth it? When you get some kind of problem, what's the whole package I'm getting? Maybe they have a guarantee that's worth it or something like that. It depends. Because Rand McNally doesn't matter if you make a guarantee every week. It doesn't matter. So it just depends. That's another reason that I like to drive at night. You don't have to find a parking place. All the places are packed. You're driving. During the day, there's nobody around. You can park all you want. Okay, so you could broker your own loads. All right, that's interesting. I think it'd be a problem on the road, maybe. Only because of time constraints is what I'm thinking of. But if it doesn't take time, broker it, then keep all the money yourself. Then what do you make? You make all the money. Right. I'm in. You get those old school tough guys talking about driving from LA to New York in a day and a half. Yeah, Mad Mouthy. That's when we were talking about these West Coast turnarounds. And, you could just keep driving. And by the end of the 3 days, you're driving like this. Yeah. You people did that years ago. Your guys still talk about, I can do that in 90 days or what. Yeah, absolutely. Right. But that's not what you want, certainly. That wasn't a good plan. And they're all dead, by the way, because the average driver died in their 50s. That's half the reason. You can't drug yourself every day to stay up and then take pills to go to bed and then be alive, any length of time. So the money doesn't do you any good. The government needs to fund more parking. Well, the problem is you want the government funding your parking spots. That's another thing. Nobody likes regulation until they like it or need something. I'm not a fan of having the government fund stuff like that. The rest areas and stuff are already there. They shouldn't close them. But should the government just buy land and provide parking for trucks? That's interesting. Who cleans it? Because it'll be a mess. And all that, is money. Maybe they could charge. Oh, that's interesting. What do you think if the government made huge lots, 1,000 trucks, parking, and charged $5 to park there every day? Every time you come in, it's $5. Would you pay it, and would it be worth it? They could put them outside of major cities, these huge lots. That's interesting. Illegal to pay by the mile, 20 plus overtime. It should be. It's not yet. Schneider is home time plus gold star. What's gold star? Do you get a gold star? States need to be sued for not enough parking for safety. I don't think that would go anywhere. States generally exempt themselves from laws like that. So I think you wouldn't be able to sue the state for just that reason. They probably, in the law, exempt themselves generally. And I don't think the state has, a legal duty in the law to provide parking, is how it would be worded. So unless they have a duty to provide it and don't, it's likely couldn't go anywhere. Disappointing. Look at the way stations that do not allow you to park overnight, for instance. Pulling into New Jersey as an example, or Alabama. Why aren't the scales open to park in? Look at Kentucky as the reverse of that example. How great is it in Kentucky? You could park all night. They don't bother you. They even have a lane to get out without. You even have a lane to get out without you going over the scale. And they provide a rest area, a bathroom, and everything. Why aren't the scales open? That's parking that should be allowed to park, and you should be able to leave without talking to the scale people. When you leave, they shouldn't be able to bother you there. You shouldn't even have to go over the scale to leave. You've already gone out past it when it was closed. Totally agree. I totally agree. If there's median area, they can build parking and use money allowed for transportation. Wow, and a wide median, you could park single file trucks. How about my 1,000 spot idea for $5? Would people be willing to pay $5 to park in a lot near a large city? They could have them anywhere. Gigantic lots that the government would build in vacant land or whatever. Half these cities have a bunch of vacant buildings and stuff. They could tear that down and make parking. See, the problem, the government's going to get sued then. Here's another problem. So the state's going to come in and build this. Somebody's going to get hurt or something and then sue the state and say, well, you built this lot. And so, we're suing. That's how it's going to work. You know it. Somebody's going to get injured. Somebody will get mugged. And they'll say, well, you should provide security. And then, oh, well, we fell in a hole, so we have to sue you for $18 million. And then they close it up. So that I think is a downside of it. What say you to that? Weighing out a truck should be free, being we have a limit we can weigh. I've done this. Who's done this? I pulled in scales. For example, entering Indiana from Ohio on 74, that scale has a display that is on 24 hours a day. So you just roll up to that scale and you see what you weigh. So I think that's a good idea right there. I've done that before. Swift wants no parking to limit competition. Know any good companies for military people? You were thinking CFI. I haven't looked into CFI. But, any person coming in from the military would be, any company is just as good as any other company. I don't know, will they treat you differently because you come in from the military? Some of them have this accelerated pay plan, which is a federal pay that I've seen for transitioning military, and they're working on allowing you to just handing your military driver's license and get a CDL. So that will also be an interesting thing for them to do. I drove a truck in the military, but not that large of a truck. I got a license to drive a smaller truck. You'd rather pay to 100 in a park by myself. I agree. Maybe they could charge extra and you get the spots next to you. Oh, that's the other thing. Okay, so in a lot, somebody hits you. It's on private property, though. Or is it considered public property? And who takes care of that? I mean, there's a lot of downsides to this with the way the legal system is. RTI only does lease purchase on a sliding pay scale under $1. Oh, $1.20 with the surcharge. How nice of them. Non-forced dispatch, but they say you say yes. Oh, you turn a load down? We don't have any other loads. I'm sure that's how that works, right? $7.50 a week for a truck. That's not the most I've seen, but that's a lot. Low miles, they hype you, then they starve you out. So then you pay for their truck for a while and they get their truck back. And then they give it off to the next person and then they pay for it for a while. The company drivers seem to have less complaints with their jobs when they're paid percentage. I think percentage is better. I personally don't, but I'm in the minority of people that doesn't like it. Only because I always think I'm getting hosed on it. And your pay can vary too much. Right now, the rates are higher than they have been, even though they've come down recently. So as a percentage, your pay seems like it's better than it has been. But if the rates came down, considerably, your pay could go down considerably for doing the same work, and people don't like that. So I'm a fan of, what I really like is hourly plus overtime. That's what drivers should get. If not, you should get practical miles plus the rest of your time paid, and you'll have a rate and at least know what you're making on, on 1,000 miles. You know what you're going to make on that load, right? On a percentage, 1,000 mile load could pay $350, $450, $550, right? $800. You never know because it depends what they're getting. Plus, I'd want to see the rates. I've heard of companies that don't show it. I want to see what they're getting for sure before I would get into percentage. But I'm in the minority about that. Company drivers do like it. I totally agree. But if you're going to get mileage, it's got to be with a guarantee. And so then I am a fan of it. Let's see. They're opening, you're overweight. Well, no, if the scale's open, I'm talking at night, right? I'm generally out rolling around at night. I agree, Chrome, right? If they're open, you'd have to hit a CAT scale. But I've rolled in there, and to weigh, for sure. You always thought that when a state builds an on or off ramp, they should make it large and flat enough to park. Yeah, I think they don't because they don't want you parking there. It's a safety problem, and last winter in some fog right here in Indiana, north of me in Remington, we had a car ran right in the back of a truck that was parked on the ramp because he saw the lights and just kaplowed right into him. That's an official word, kaplow, right there. And everybody got sued, of course. And so then for a while they enforced it in Indiana because you're not allowed to park on the ramp. So they'd have to make the shoulder big enough where he could be far enough over to get away from traffic. I don't know how to do that to make it safe. I don't like people parking on the ramp. But the worst case, they should park on the on-ramp and not the off-ramp. Only on-ramp. Then widen it up and you could park some trucks on each one. And then, of course, we got to have the cleanup crew. Of course, we're going to have prisoners clean that up, I guess. A lot of community colleges are offering 10, 12-week courses. Tuition is low. Your son got a CDL at Gaston College and it costs $300. That's great. What I've said is if you can afford it, pay for it yourself at a truck school and not get grants or scholarships like this and get most or all of it paid and do it yourself. Now he has a CDL and can go anywhere he wants, right, to any company. And by the way, they have tuition reimbursement at a lot of these companies. So he wants to, if he wants to get that, he can get tuition reimbursement at least for the $300 that he can prove and get that paid back. But then he doesn't have any obligation. And a lot of these companies, even when he's new, want him to sign a contract. Don't allow that. He's got a CDL, okay? There shouldn't be any contract beyond that, I think. So tell him, no way, I got a CDL, no contract for me. Some of them make you still sign a year, just like you came out of their school, like you're paying them back. You don't owe them anything. You don't owe a company anything. So if you have your CDL, no contract at all. Is 55 cents a mile good for experienced driver? Yeah, that's pretty good if you get some miles and it's practical miles, right? That's still good money, though. So 3,000 miles is $1,750, almost 80 grand. Just put up a sign in that 1,000 spot claiming no responsibility, just like dump trucks. Except dump trucks do have a responsibility depending on the situation. Because you put up a sign, you can't waive all your liability, only some of it. So gross liability, right, is not, gross negligence, right, is not allowed to be waived, only regular negligence. So if there is what could be proven to be gross negligence, they can't waive it even with a sign. The same with a dump truck. If they've done something negligent, they can't just waive all their negligence. They bust your windshield, but they didn't latch the truck. That's their negligence. Just random rocks falling is one thing, which I agree, right? But when they have negligence, gross negligence on their side, they can't waive it. And it would be the same in this lot. Gross negligence is not allowed to be waived. And since I say that, I'm also not an attorney, right? But I'm telling you, you cannot waive gross negligence. They'll still be sued, and they'll still probably lose. Wild Bill is a city boy. Yeah. You're a city boy and called Wild Bill Anderson? Yikes. I thought I was a city boy right here, right? But even though 3 minutes from here are cornfields. Park on the ramp on the left-hand side. Oh, that, cars still, they saw the lights in that fog was the problem. They were coming off in the fog, and the first thing they saw the lights, and they thought, oh, he's going up the ramp, and just ran right in the back to him. Kaplammy. Just right into the back of him. Who remembers glider kits? Yes, they're almost gone, aren't they? What is that hanging on the wall? Oh, this is my very festive Halloween decoration. Right there, right? Look at that. right? Went all out for the Halloween decorations. So that's what that is, because it's October, right? It's Halloween time. It's Trucktober. It's Trucktober. Landstar Todd, hey, what's happening out there, Mr. Todd? Doing good here. I hope that you are doing well and being safe out there. And getting good miles there, for sure. Yes, kablammy, that's correct. I said it well, Bill. You've been talking to Maverick. They've informed me that they're starting to train only with automatics. Well, here's my thoughts on automatics. It varies. I would like you to not have the restriction, which is an E on your license. So if they'll get you a manual, get it. But I don't think anymore, I've thought about it, and I don't think that it's as huge a problem as it's made out to be. Almost all new trucks are coming with automatics, unless you're ordering them with a stick. Most companies have at least some automatics, and now I'm finding companies, including where I work, we have a mix of automatics and stick shifts. All the new trucks are coming as automatics, but will take you even with a restriction. So, and I think that's how these companies are going to do it. They'll take you, put you in an automatic truck. There'll be some manuals left. So is it a problem? I'd rather you didn't get it, but I don't think it will be that much of an impact. And I do think that at some point in the future, it won't even matter. There won't be a restriction. Look on when you have a car, there's no restriction, right? You can drive you drive a manual or automatic, no matter if you're trained or not, right? So it doesn't even make any difference. And I think that will come to CDLs as well. And somebody wrote to me that said it's a conspiracy, which I think is interesting, that it's actually conspiracy so that the mega carriers you are stuck working there with these automatics, which I think is interesting. But a lot of these companies have automatics. So is it a problem? I'd rather you didn't get it, but it wouldn't stop me from going there. Especially if you're going to, they have a really good program there. So it wouldn't stop me. And even them, right? They're going to automatics. It saves them money. They don't have to put clutches in. They save fuel mileage. They're fine on the road. I've had one for years. Do it. Good afternoon, comfortable man. It's nice to see you here. Festivus. Oh, the poll. Right. I love I should get a poll. That's awesome for December. Right. That is great. Right. It's the festival for the rest of us. Right. I love it. Why do Virginia install prepaid between the travel lanes? Increase the chance your transponder not giving a bypass, and every other state has them installed correctly. I don't know. Are they in a bad spot there? Write to the state. Seriously. Write to their Department of Transportation and tweet at them, too. That seems to work better. Tweet at them and say, look, your transponders are not in the right spot. And they'll actually take a look at it. If they got bureaucrats, that's all they love to do all day is do that kind of stuff. So, search the internet. Are other people having this problem, or is it just really you? I mean, it may be your transponder is all I'm saying. So if a lot of people are having a problem, write to them and say, look, there's hundreds of people talking about this. Fix it. They have people that do that. You signed a year contract for 6 weeks of training. Don't have to pay the money back unless you quit. Right, that's pretty common within a year. They credit you so much a week. That's also very common. If I quit, they take my last 2 checks. Oh, so the 2 checks behind, nice. That's how because they know you won't pay it otherwise. That's still common. Taking your check, you probably signed for it and they probably allowed it. I'd still file for wages anyway and see what happened. If you do quit, I'd go to the state and say they withheld my wages. Although it's probably allowed. Because you do sign for it in advance and know what you're signing. You had a CDL with all your endorsements. Yeah, look, I agree. And the other ones, doubles, triples, tankers, those 2, right, extend your license for the rest of your life. It's just a written test. Go take it. If you don't get it at truck school, go study the book in your state. And then when you're on home time, go take the test. Slap it on there. It's $10 or whatever it is, depends on the state. And you never pay it again either. And it's on there your whole life. 5 years from now, when somebody goes, can you haul doubles? You go, I've had doubles for 5 years. What are you talking about? Right, you've had it for 5 years, right? Not lying. And then you have another opportunity opens up for you. Always be ready for your next opportunity. Success comes to favors the prepared, as the saying goes, right? Our automatics and mountain driving, no problem, right? Same as a stick. Hold the button. There's a button on the end. It depends on how it's set up, right, on ours. You press it in, it goes to manual, okay, and M pops up. So then you can up and down the lever and it'll hold the gear, turn the Jake on. It's same as popping a manual. It'll hold the gear same way, no problem. You just press the lever down or up and it shifts up. You just shift it manually. yourself. So that's why I'm saying it isn't, as much of a problem as you would think. Just like popping your car into a different gear. Same way. That's the best endorsement you can have. Maybe. I like to get all the endorsements. You should have them all if you can get them. You can't use a clutch anyway. You have to float the gear else, or you throw your truck around and it's weird. Okay. Well. Okay, that's perfect, I guess. Floating that's how everybody does it anyway, to be honest with you. So I would say there's nobody out here driving any length of time that is not floating a manual, for sure. You're headed to Huntingtonburg, Indiana today. We were in Huntingburg yesterday. That's where I went down 69 there yesterday. So to see wife's number 2 kid, we went down there for the day. So Huntingburg near Jasper is where I was yesterday. That's why I was going down 69 when I was saying earlier that it's in such horrible shape, right? It's just in terrible shape. 19 years ago, you learned in a manual, chrome junkie, now drive an auto, right? When I renew, do I need to show proof of learning in a manual? No, I just go down and renew. No, they don't care. Because you're not restricted, you're not restricted. So no problem. So if you do not have the endorsement, right, which you don't because you got it 19 years ago. Okay, let's put it this way because now I'm rereading this. If your license doesn't have the restriction, they won't add the restriction to it. Okay? To get it taken off, you will have to go down and get it removed with a manual, for sure. Is it true that new license and renewals have to complete a human trafficking class, says Kansas Kid? It depends on your state. Check with your state. There's some states that are requiring it. Indiana doesn't. We enjoy trafficking here, apparently. But it will probably come here. But it's state by state. So it depends. And the class is online, and it isn't long. I don't know if it costs anything. It would be tax deductible. Check with your tax professional. You love the manual and floating. Yeah, look, I love it too, right? Every once in a while I'll get one because my truck's in the shop or something. And so that's great. Although a few years ago I had a Super 10, which was horrible, as we all know. Who remembers the Super 10? Got that as a rental. And it didn't have that many miles on it, which I thought was funny. And then I thought, oh yeah, because nobody can drive it. So, Super 10 I had. All right to Virginia. Yeah, look. Okay, so it works everywhere else except Virginia, and complained to the safety department at Landstar. All right, well, if Landstar was able to get it fixed temporarily, maybe you have a bad transponder that isn't always doesn't quite send out the correct way. That's all I'm saying. Search online. If nobody else is complaining about it, it's you. It's you. Have Landstar send you another transponder or get you a transponder. Yes, you made your 10 speed, exactly. Correction on the endorsement. It depends on the state. Mississippi requires you to pay for each endorsement every time you renew. Don't have to test for it, though. All right, I'll go with that. Yeah, all right, we'll say that's state by state then. Here in Indiana, let's put it this way. You get your endorsement. It's a one-time pay when you get it, and you never pay again. The CDL is the same price forever. The only thing you have to pay extra is the hazmat because you have to keep retesting on it. But the endorsements just stay on there. So if other states, apparently, check with your local state CDL department. And hazmat, you have to redo the background check. Yes, that's what I'm saying. The background check has to be redone. Testing is done. Hazmat costs every time you renew it. I agree. Most companies pay for it. They pay for it where I am here. And it's not the only place. I find a lot of places are paying it. No problem. If not, that may be tax deductible. Check with your tax professional. But it's a business expense. You should be able to take it off. But a lot of places pay. And you may not even know they pay. Ask your company if they want you to have it or require it. Say, hey, you going to pay for it? And someone will like, yeah, we pay for it. What are you talking about? So you may be able to just get it free that way. Comfortable Man loves the Super 10s. He must be taking those West Coast turnarounds. They're horrible. Okay, you're the only one. You must have been the other driver in that rental truck I had a few years ago. About the automated email trucks, how are they going to get themselves a pre-trip? Are they going to know if they have a flat tire? Well, the truck will know it has a flat tire the same way your car does because it'll give you a dash light. So you can, if the tire's low, same with any car built in the last, I don't know how many years, you get a light, right? It's got a sensor. How will it do a pre-trip? That is a very good question, isn't it? Presumably what they'll do, because what they're talking about initially is having these staged in a big area where they'll all take off from there. There'll be somebody there that will do that hourly, but it will pay like $8 or $10 an hour. It won't be any kind of pay. And that person will do the pre-trip, and then the truck will take off on its own. And it won't, and you would only have to do it on every stop and start, right? And the truck doesn't need to stop or start. So when you leave, you'd have to be satisfied that it's safe. But then as you drive, you don't do a pre-trip while the truck is driving. And as long as it has fuel, it doesn't need to stop. It can drive with a big enough tank. It could drive all the way across the country without stopping. Never needs to stop. So then on the other end, the same thing. It unhooks. Somebody will unhook it, and that's how the pre-trip and post-trip on that will work. Somebody will do it. Super 10 was awesome in city driving? No way, man. What are we talking about? Did I go through a time warp? What the heck? 2 people like it? Arkansas, everything will be mandatory by 2020. Nice. You kept your passenger endorsement, and it came in handy years ago to Greyhound bus station. You had to move a coach. They let you move a coach? Oh my God, the liability in that. That's all I can think of is the liability in that. I got a friend that's a lawyer, I guess. I shouldn't talk to him so much. But right, look, once you get the endorsements, keep them. Even if you have to pay. Even if you're in a state, which I didn't know, right? If you're in a state that you have to pay, keep it. You never know when you'll need it. Joshua, hey, what's going on? A tanker out there. What's happening? Horrible? Yes, comfortable, man. I said it. That splitter's horrible. I don't like it. It shifts so slow. Was the real problem with it. It's so slow. Bold venture. Yes. Happy Halloween this week to everyone. I hope you all have candy ready to give out to all the kids that walk around the truck stop. Why do you entertain drivers of trucks? They're dangerous. Why do I entertain it? Someone asked a question about it. I'm not entertaining it, okay? And I will tell you this. It's decades before there are even any kind of numbers on the road. Any kind of numbers. They're touting it like they're all over the place. There's a few of them running around that they're testing. It is a long, long time before a truck runs down the road moving freight with no one in it. Okay, so it's a long time. But somebody asked about it. So that's what they're going to do about the pre-trip on it. You know, who's going to pre-trip it? That's a very good question. Who will pre-trip it? Somebody that they pay $10 an hour. That's who will stand in there and pre-trip it. You don't think it's ever going to happen to flatbed? Sure it will. Absolutely. It'll be the same eventually. It'll be the same thing. Somebody will put the load on there and the truck will take the trailer. And then at the other end, it'll be dropped off for a local driver to deliver in large drop-off areas, similar to the toll road where they split the long doubles up and the triples, just like that. It'll take off right there, right onto a highway, and it won't get it back off the highway until another one of these breakup areas where they get broken to, be taken locally by a local driver to be delivered. That's how it'll work. But look, it isn't like it's tomorrow. Okay, we'll all probably be dead or close to it before that even starts happening in any kind of number. So people born today could probably be drivers and not have to worry about it. That's how far off it is, I think, before all the drivers have this any kind of taken over in any kind of numbers at all. For sure. You learned on a 13-speed Road Ranger and your favorite even in the city? Yeah, look, 13-speed, love it. I think that's the optimum transmission on the road, 13 speeds. No more, no less. And a manual. You never had any issues with your Super 10? Yours was never slow. It changed the gears easily, and that Pete drove like a caddy. I didn't have any issues with it per se that it didn't work. I didn't think it shifted fast enough. I don't like the pattern. And I've had a few of them, one in an International and a Freightliner. We don't get big Pete's here, right? Fleet trucks, but not a fan. Just not a fan of it. And there, as you notice, no one else was either. They're gone. So I was just not a huge fan of it. And I think it was low miles because I don't think anybody would drive it. The only reason that they, had it at the rental place with no miles, they probably tried to give it out to everybody, and then they couldn't give it out. At first, those trucks will have a driver anyway, just in case. Yeah, they do now. Where they're testing them, there's a driver required, of course, by now, by law. But that is true. They will have drivers in them, and it's before it drives itself. Oh my gosh, how long is that? Every state, they got to have some kind of laws and the liability. What if it hits somebody? What happens when the road's closed? What does the truck do? There's just so many things to figure out. What do you do when you get to a spot where there's no lines on the road? So it already can't even follow in the rain. In heavy rain, my sensor stops working where it tells you how far the truck is in front of you. It already does that in the rain. So these things, forget it. It's a long time. They asked if anyone had a CDL with a passenger. Wow, and you spoke up because you're waiting? Yeah, you're surprised they asked. I'm super surprised they asked. It's like on a plane then, is there a doctor? So they go, do any passengers have a CDL? That's crazy. Did they look at it? Oh, did they even check, or could you just say you had it? Do I ever listen to the Roland CB interview? Some nice trucks? No. Is that on, where is that? Where would I find that? Still live, Pure Flatbetter. Yes, I'm still live out here Mondays. We usually do at least a couple hours live here on Monday. It might have run off satellite and Google Map. It would have to be exact. I mean, they'll have to be very super precise to run it. And if the road's closed, where does it? It would have to figure out where to go. So they'd have to have some kind of trucking program. I think it's a huge problem. Oh, it's on YouTube. No, I never heard of it. I never heard of that on YouTube. So I will check it out. Roland CB interview on YouTube. What do they do on there? As I promote another channel, but what do they do on there? On more truck and talk? They answering questions. They doing interviews. What's happening out there? Your concern is going to get lost in the construction area and then crash and everything. Look, Marty, I totally agree. What about where it's a crossover? So now the truck is driving facing traffic. It thinks on the other side of the road. It probably wouldn't even go through the crossover because it's going to be programmed to drive on this side of the road going that way, not on that side of the road going that way. So how does it get programmed for that as it happens? Is the cop going to tell the truck, hey, truck, you got to go over on this side? I mean, how's it going to know to do that? Follow the cones, but then it's facing traffic, so it's not going to want to do it. I think it's going to be a huge, huge problem. Believe me. CR England said your truck was automated, so go back and make me a sandwich. Yeah, they probably do tell you that for the pay they give. Trucking will be doing a giveaway. Yes, Cantos. I will be, next week is the giveaway show, which I should announce, right? I have a dash cam to give away and some Loves cards because I've hit 10,000 subscribers, which is amazing to me. And I thank you for that. So it'll be a live giveaway. I have a timer. When the timer goes off, I have a random number generator. That's how I'm going to do it. And kablamo, as they say that number, I'm going to count back from the comments right there. And whatever the number is, that person's the winner. I think that's a fair enough way. So you don't have to buy anything. As they say, no purchase will be necessary. You don't have to send me money or do anything. Just be here, be in the comments. That's all you have to do to win. And what I would ask you to do this week, if you could, is email me your screen name. You don't have to, but I would prefer that. And I need to use that because some of you don't have any way to get in touch with you based on your screen name. It doesn't go to anywhere. So I would have no way to get in contact with you. So, and that way I ensure that the person who's chosen off the list is the person that emails me. That would make it best. I'm Mark at truckinganswersnation.com. Just send me your screen name and so that I know how they match up next week's show. Okay, it's not not Oprah or anything. Just giving a few things away. I want to say thank you to everybody for being here with some giveaways, a few things, right? So it's a better deal than the lottery, I guess. Which if I'd have won the lottery, I'd be giving away probably 2 dash cams. So that would be pretty good of me, right? Oh, Brian, thanks. Yeah, winner, chicken dinner. Maybe you might be the winner. You could be the winner if you're here next week. Thank you very much, though. And live in the live show and in the comments, you'll have to make a comment, and that's all you have to do, right? As they say, no purchase necessary. That's what I should say. It's hard to revise with the no. What is revise? It's hard to revise. Mate, where are you from, by the way? Oh, right, international. I never thought about that. I'll have to look up. That's very good. I'll have to look up the YouTube rules. I may not be able to do a giveaway to someone that's international. So I'll have that announcement next Monday. And that will be, because there'll be a bunch of rules which I'm required to post in the comments. So it may be United States only. Let's put that out there right now because of the way you have to do a giveaway on YouTube. So that may be a deciding factor in what country possibly gets the giveaways. You wouldn't ask for a Super 10, but if you had one, it wouldn't bother you. It would bother me, especially now because I know it's old. Are you live every Monday? Yes, I am live every Monday here at 1 p.m. Eastern, come rain or shine. We're here at 1 p.m. I used to go a couple hours or more. Live, get in on the live chat, ask questions. I try to get to everybody's comment. Sometimes I talk too fast and I apologize. So I will try to do dictate better, right? Because I don't think about that because I'm just hearing myself. So I'm sorry. Anyway, bluish hue, you missed almost the entire show. You're about to get a demerit for being here at this time. I'm sure I'm live every day. I try to be live every day for sure. But I try to go live on YouTube every Monday at 1. Sometimes I do more than one live show, but I haven't had a second live show in a while, and I don't promise any other day than Monday. So it will be every Monday at 1, and that is when I will be live next week as well, of course, and you should be there. And I always try to throw this out to my friend Jay, because Jay does a show about car hauling, which I don't know anything about. And if any of you are interested in car hauling or learning about the car hauling business, you should check out Jay's live show on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central Time. 8 p.m. Central Time at Auto Transport Intel. And he's live over there for 2 to 3 hours talking about car hauling, which is another fascinating part of the trucking industry. Jay is a car hauling dispatcher. He brings on experts and stuff, so check him out on Tuesdays. I'm over there in the comments too, watching the show, loving the show. That's how it works, right? Let's see. Trucking Answers is going to go up. Yeah, maybe. We'll see about that. It's a guy in a tricked out car interviewing owner-operators with nice trucks. Oh, nice. Well, that's interesting. My feed is better than Monday Night Football. Yeah, I'm not a fan of sports. I have to say out there, people don't like that, but I'm not a fan of sports. So I don't know that much about it. Your first time tuning in, Anthony? Oh, good. Thanks for being out here. You delayed your workout. Yeah, that's awesome. If I can make people fatter, I'm all in for that. Holy mackerel. You could watch it while you're working out, too. You can get on that treadmill and watch this, too. Free Wi-Fi, Planet Fitness, everybody. But yeah, so but thanks for coming in, Chris, anyway. Don't delay your workout for me, though. Your health is more important because then you can watch for longer. Yeah, right, comfortable man, right. That's the new motto here. Trucking Answers, making everyone fatter by delaying their workouts. We don't want that. I tell everybody this too, right? I don't mention this enough. Get out and walk every day, at least a little bit, right? Get out there and walk in the morning or something. Get stretched out. Jeez. I don't want everybody dying off on the show here. That's no good for anything. That's for sure. You enjoy watching every week to see which company is going to be the crap company. Oh, good. Well, Kentucky Trucker, I appreciate that. Never know who it will be, but it always comes now from people's suggestions. And, some are worse than others. You eat spaghetti swash instead of noodles. Lots of fiber. Nice. Harder to make, right? Noodles easier to get. You missed your old R model Mac. I had an R model Mac when I ran containers in Chicago. It was rail to rail. I would take them from one railroad to another railroad and drop them off, and they had R model Macs there. And the air conditioning was you kick a little door open with your foot, and there was air that would blow in. It put a little vent out like this, right? And air would just blow in on you. The faster you went, the cooler you got. Speaking of being healthy, why don't more truck stops have fitness rooms? Rollin' Strong, wasn't that the name of it? Rollin' Fit. There was one the TA had, started it nationwide, and nobody came. You'd look in their cobwebs. So that's why they don't have more of them. Plus liability, but mainly because nobody used them. So, and there's a few that have fitness, but mostly they don't have them. Just drivers didn't use them. Well, Bill, yes, you get to learn new words here. That's all part of the deal. You come in, learn a new word, get paid for all your work, and get words. Thanks, Terry. I appreciate it for coming in. Remember all the mom and pop diner spots? Yeah, that all you can eat. Yes, absolutely. They're all being swallowed up by the petro and everything else, of course. Stump Jumper, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And thank you for that. Everybody for coming in. I can't do this without you. I'd just be talking to myself. This is all you people. This isn't, I'm just some driver here, okay? So don't ever forget that. Walmart Transportation is buying Mack Pinnacles. Nice. They've got some Tesla trucks on order too at Walmart that I saw. They've ordered some of the new Tesla trucks and they're going to install the overhead charger thing. Nice. B62 had one of those air conditioners. Yeah, I never had one that old, right? But I've seen some of them. And now, the faster you went, for people that new drivers that don't know, there were trucks without air conditioning, and so there was a kick panel down by your foot, your left foot, that had a little flap on it. You kicked it, and a door opened, and so basically it just sucked air into the truck. You just got blown to death with air, and you'd have to reach over and crank that door down. It was right there if you had a half cab Mack, and that's how it worked. They're called wing windows. No, these were down by your foot. It also had wing windows. Here you had the wing window that popped open. This is down by your foot, and you could pop it open with your foot, and a little flap came out, a metal flap, and air blew in there. So nice. Your old truck is a gigantic flower pot. So you have your old truck? Was that you that said that? I gotta go back. No. Okay, so you have an old truck that is a flower pot? U model Mack. Okay. Look, all right. I thought it was an R model that was just a half cab Mack. So they called it a different letter? Nice. The cab ended right here, basically. For people that just on the other side of the shifter, yeah, and that was it, right? That was the end of the cab. So it's a little warmer in the winter. That truck I had didn't really have heat unless you're rolling. So when you would stop at a light, even with the grill covered, it got cold right away. And so you had to get moving a little bit to get a little bit of heat out of it. So anytime a container had to go through the city, it always bothered me because it had to go through the lights. I'd rather take a container across town so I could get on the highway and warm up a little bit in the wintertime at least, because you'd have to drive the thing with all your winter gear on because you were freezing to death. You like the crap company? Nice. Even though you own your own truck, okay, at Landstar, good. It helped you understand those companies and the drivers they hire on the road. Yes. Doing unsafe things. Yeah, I agree with you, and thank you for enjoying that. And, part of it is not even necessarily pay. But, a lot of these places just don't train people properly. In a couple of weeks, if you're out in the train or sleeping, you haven't learned anything. So, companies that do that kind of team training, as they call it, I don't like. Or worse yet, at CRST, where they put two people together that are both trainees. One guy's got, 6 months or 4 months more than the other one. That's ridiculous. Or someplace put 3 people in a truck. I mean, that's just all crazy. And so they should all be called out for that. It's ridiculous. You drove a 77 with a 315 and a 4x4. Yikes. The U model is the offset cab. Okay, right. Yeah, half cab, we call that. I call it. When you were young, you drove a farm truck. Yeah, it took a while to realize that the cab was colder. Part of it is the cold air is coming in that little flap, too. So you'd have we'd seal that up in the winter. Duct tape it up. You remember having a milk carton driving down there with windows down, no AC. Exactly. You had a pyrometer in your old R model. Yes. Yes. Right. Exhaust temperature. So people don't know this. We used to have a pyrometer in the truck, which was a gauge that measured exhaust temperature. I also had a front brake limiting valve. Who remembers that? You had a switch on the dash. This was in an old Ford, which basically turned off the brakes to the front axle so that you didn't spin out. Oh my gosh. Well, how wonderful is that? The idea was in the rain, basically, or the snow, you could turn off your front axle brakes with a front brake limiting valve. And that's would stop the truck from spinning out. Crazy. It had automatic shutters on the grill too, right? Who remembers that? So it had automatic shutters that closed. In the winter, the shutters would close to keep this Ford a little bit warmer. And as the temperature of the thermostat ran them, and they'd open up, air operated. Interesting. I'm sure no one cares, but just me. The offset is the normal cab offset to the left side, and half cab is half the cab. All right, so they have all these different names. I don't even know what I'm driving. The first company you worked for was a crap company, but you're at a good company now and making money. Yeah, and I find people at these crap companies, they get on dedicated runs, and then they write to me and say it's a great place. So I think there's something to that I want to put out there. If you're at one of these crap companies or a company that's not treating you well, see if they have a dedicated run you can get on. There's tons of people writing to me from these mega carriers that are on dedicated runs and love it. Pay good, home time, love it. That might be the answer there. Working at Swift, brand new, 39 cents a mile. Just got a raise in 40, and the next 6 months to 43. Not bad. That's better than a lot of these places I see out here. And I have said many times that I think Swift is, they may not be a company doing it better, and they have a really long payback on their school, right? Way longer than I think it should be. But I do think that their pay has gone up to be way more than a lot of other places. And it's a much better option than some of the places I show, for sure. Your 2005 has a pyrometer? Nice. I haven't seen one. I don't know the last time I saw one. Decades. I didn't know they still installed those things. That greenish blue liquid we're starting up. Oh, air starters for resales? Yes. I never had an air starter. Okay. I didn't get an air starter. But some of the trucks would have an air starter. I remember this at Ream water heaters. And so the truck that would start, usually mine and a couple others that had a regular starter, you'd have to go over to them on Monday and hook the air hoses up and give the truck air so it would start, because the windows had rolled down too. The passenger window was air also, and so that window would be down and the truck would be dead. It wouldn't start. Should give them air so that they could start the truck. It's crazy. Who did that? CCX? Conway, right? Had those for a long time. For not very long. Not really. Not that long ago is what I'm saying. I still remember hearing them starting it with air. Roadway had them too. Crap companies are crap until you earn your stripes. Yeah, if you'll go into something dedicated there, you can make a living there. They have tons of benefits because they're big. You may not have to leave. What do I consider a crap company? Well, they have to have several things. They're not paying practical miles generally. Their pay is low relative even to the industry, or they have some kind of training program that is bad, like they put two students together. They have a reputation across the industry, not just of one person that says, like K and B, that where they micromanage your day and don't allow you to do your day. All these things add up together to make a crap company. When they're 8 cents below the average, they don't pay waiting time, they don't have detention time, they don't pay holidays. They add all these things up, and then it's just bad. You just are way behind the ball on where you could be. Some of them, there's a 20 cent per mile difference just starting out. Imagine 20 cents per mile your first year. How much more would you have made your first year if you'd have changed to something like that? And so that's the kind of thing that makes a company a crap company, combined with other things, not just pay usually, but with other things. That's why when people write to me, I don't want people to get mad at me. Oh, this is a crap company, and then I check it out, but then because they treat me bad is usually what it says, but then I can't find any other instances of that. So I can't go out there and say, well, this person is treated badly, because then the company says, well, look, they had this problem or whatever, and we generally treat people well. It has to be an industry-wide thing where they're doing this across the industry, to everybody or to a lot of people that have taken note of it. Because people have a bad experience. I've been at my company a long time, but then there are people that come and quit right away too who may say it's a bad place. So, and remember, crap company is just my opinion. You may find it the best company ever. People could still work there. It's just what I think of the place. And again, who am I? I'm just some guy out here. So you can say, well, he's nuts. I work here and I love it or whatever. And that may be the case. So it just depends. Part of it depends. That's what I consider that. You drove one with a triplex. Wow. I haven't seen one of those either, but now somebody's going to write to me. I've got a brand new truck with a triplex. So those I do think they still make. How about an automatic truck and really high gusty winds? I don't think the automatic and the winds have anything to do with each other. Yesterday the winds were gusting to 45. Now we were in a car, but I would have drove in that with an automatic. I don't know how the wind and an automatic, how it makes any difference. The transmission doesn't make any difference that way, I don't think. Unless there's something I'm missing on that one. Yeah, those air windows would open when you're sleeping. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because when the truck ran out of air, the passenger window and the driver window, if it was air, but mine was just on the passenger, would go down. There was a button on the dash, and the window would go up, kind of like a Star Trek door, zoom up to the top like that. And then, but when the truck ran out of air, the window just came down. Nice. We had air steering too. So nice. You drove an International, a 94 International flat top with a 12 Detroit and a 13 speed. Right. In 2004. Wow. I guess it's not that old then. You should get hub miles. Look, we should get paid hourly plus overtime. Next would be hub miles. And then practical miles. Problem is, if I only went hub miles, there'd be nobody to work for. I'm finding very few places. A couple I found, but most don't pay it. So I think the best at the moment is going to be practical miles on the road. That's going to be the best you can do right now. There's no reason for them not to pay, practical miles at least, if not door-to-door miles. There's no reason for it. Yes, wow, Bill, it is about perspective. I totally agree. If you find auto easier in the wind, you don't need to worry about gears. I find them easier all the time because I don't have to worry about shifting. So, I would like a 13 speed, but really, I'll take an automatic, no problem. I drive one every day, and are any mega carriers union? No, I don't think so. I doubt it because they would get paid better and get trained better. So no, I certainly doubt that. There's not that many union companies left, and most of them are LTL. Any road union companies? I doubt it. If there are, it's going to be rare, and it's not going to be the big names of trucking for sure. They always threaten the drivers. Oh, you can't organize, we'll be mad at you and stuff like that. And so then new drivers, of course, they don't know, and so then they don't do anything about it. You're a new driver, CDL driver now, a student, as my screen slows down there. There we go. I'm a new student, CDL student. You'd like a manual. I feel it would be more control. Yeah, look, people should get trained in a manual, for sure, but there's not many places doing it. You should learn on a manual in a car, too, so that you get the idea of driving and not doing everything else, for sure. You're lobbying your company to pay practical? Yeah, you should. And tell them, look, everybody else pays at what is going on. There's no reason. There's no excuse now. It's just literally a click in their mileage computer to how they want to figure miles. And I guarantee you they're probably charging the places they haul for practical miles. To 19 years doing this, you've never heard of a union mega company. I agree. Me either. No way. Automatic truck is a no-no in high gusty winds. Why? What am I missing? I mean, I've been driving them for years. What have I done wrong here? How is Anderson trucking? Yeah, how is Anderson trucking? You like that I state my opinion on research. Yeah, most of these crap companies I haven't worked for, so I'm not going to be... That's true, but what I could do is, if I see a place paying, 30 cents a mile, okay, that's just a fact. And so then when I see other places paying the same student 50 cents a mile, I know that we've got a problem. And so for me, I think that's crap. And so I call them out on it. There's no excuse not to pay a decent wage, and remember, 100,000 miles at 20 cents is 20 grand in your pocket. Your first year, that difference in pay can be $20,000. That's huge. And there's no excuse. So that's what I do. But as always, crap company is just my opinion. That's all. It's my opinion. You can still work there. Christopher, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. 2018 vehicle anti-theft manual with a little brown light. Yes, light it up, especially in your car. Nobody will take it. For sure. Nobody will do anything with it. The IRS knows about the scam that trucking companies pull with lease purchase. I agree. You had tax problem from that years ago, so why do companies do that? The IRS only says not to. They don't really enforce it. They just don't enforce it, and so it goes on because who pays? Lobbyists, the ATA, and they love all these programs. And that's the sad truth of it. And why it goes on? Because they sell people on the idea of being an owner-operator and set your own schedule and buy a Bentley, and you'll have all kinds of money and all kinds of stuff. And that's the dream they sell people on. They sell them on the sizzle and not the steak. And then when they start eating, they realize it's all rotten and they're driving a Pinto and they don't have any money because they got to work 24 hours a day. Now, I will tell you, a few people have written to me. They even sent their settlements in. that are lease purchasing at some companies, and they're doing good, but it's never been any of these named companies. Okay, and they said not to put the company out there, so because I've said it like that, I'm not. But I will say, there are some that are making legit, $2,000 net after the truck, after fuel, and they send a settlement to prove it. It can happen. But most of these big places that just push you into a lease, doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. And you end up, they get the trucks back sometimes. Some people finish it. Do I say nobody finishes it? No. Do some drivers get a Bentley? Yes. But mostly no. And you still don't have all your benefits, and you still don't, I still don't think, I've hardly found anybody that makes more than a good company driver if you include all the benefits. Why don't truckers have a trade organization? We do. It's called OIDA, like the Brotherhood of Plumbers. The best you could do is OIDA right now, and everybody should join it immediately. OIDA, right? That's what we've got at the moment. It's for all drivers, not just owners. I always thought that was a bad name. But that's for all drivers. That's our organization at the moment. Why are we considered unskilled labor? Well, a plumber is 4 years of training electricians, and truck school is 3 weeks. That's why the government considers people unskilled, and part of it is us. Go to the back of the truck stop. Okay, go walk around a travel center behind some guy that hasn't showered for 4 days. You know who else is in there? Family that votes. What do you think they think? Okay, and then they go to their politicians and go, we got to do something about these stinky drivers that have foul mouths and harass the waitresses. That one guy throws it off for the next 100 drivers that person sees. They think we're all scum. And so that's, we have to clean up our own side of the fence first, basically, before we start throwing tomatoes over there. Tell them to pay hub miles if there's no constriction, detours, and winter road. There's no reason they couldn't hub mile it, address to address, before you leave. And if you went right there, your miles would be super close, right? I mean, Google's very good at very close on it. That's all they'd have to do. There's no excuse not to do it, except we don't demand it. UPS is the single largest employer in the Teamsters Union per Google. Nice. And they get paid good, too, because of it. Because they stand up and say, we're going to get paid good. And they wear brown socks, which they have to pay for. You owned an automatic truck before and never had wind problems. You only have had problems in snow and ice because of the shifting parameters. Yeah, Anthony, I've driven it in wind without problems. The snow is a problem depending on how your company has the truck set up. Ask them to give you full manual control of the truck. That's what I would like you to do if they don't do it already. So you can click the button and hold it, and it will lock manual, and then it doesn't shift. That seems to be the main problem. Some companies don't allow control of it. Some of our automatics don't allow control of it. And so then, when you're trying to get somewhere in the snow or don't want it to shift, it shifts. When you want it to shift, it doesn't shift. I agree. That can all be set in the computer, though. And I would encourage you to tell them and see if they'll do it, at least for the winter, to allow you to have manual control. And certainly on the road, I wouldn't go on the road with one down huge mountains out west unless it was manual controlled, for sure. Because it will shift on you. And you don't want that. So you want to be able to hold a gear wherever you want it. You still want it, just like a car. The car's got a little switch or whatever to shift gears manually. It should do the same thing. When you're coming down, Grapevine or whatever, you don't want it shifting. You just don't want it. Manual control. Ask your company to put it in there. All you do is plug it in. It's in there. It literally is in their control to let you control. And they should let you do it. Current vacuum service. Oh, vacuum suck truck. I did that years ago. That's great. Your truck is an office. Why can't you dress like you work in one? Yeah, look, people don't have to come in a tuxedo, but you could put on fresh clothes every day and take a shower once in a while, and watch your mouth in the travel plaza. I mean, come on. We have to present a good image, right? You want to be treated like a professional. You need to be a professional when you're out. You're a professional. Go in there like you're a professional. And I'm not saying you need to be in a business suit. It would be nice. Armani.com. Check them out. Not paid. Not a paid sponsorship. What about auto brake on ice and snow? Ours don't automatically have the have a Jake on them. You got to turn it on yourself, and it drives like a car. Press on the brake. I mean, it drives literally like a car. Same thing. But again, on the ice, That's where I want the manual control. So I don't want to hit the brake and have it downshift because sometimes they do that. So in the ice, you can hold the gear on the ice. Have a manual control it. It's in the computer. What are practical miles? You could pay GPS miles on a dedicated ride. Well, what are GPS miles? That's interesting. That's probably better than practical miles. There's household goods miles, which are short miles. That's zip code to zip code. That's bad. You can lose a lot of miles on that. Practical miles are better. It's supposed to be truck routing. It's within a few percent of the miles that you actually drive the truck. So I found on a 500 mile load, you'll get 490 miles, sometimes 485 miles. Or on household goods miles, you might get 460 miles on the same thing. So hub miles would be even probably closer than that. But practical, I think right now is probably the best thing that they've got going in the trucking industry at the moment. Your company may not pay the best, but you get per mile per diem and paid all hub, all detour. Yeah, so part of it, so you don't have the best mileage, but then they do this other stuff that other companies don't do. That's what I talk about. What's the total package where you are? Is it worth it? It can't just be a mile to mile comparison because that's not necessarily fair. What's the total deal that you're getting there? Is the total deal worth it? Then it's totally worth it. Here's the catch with UPS. It's $18 for next day compared to 49 cents with regular mail. All right. You get what you pay for. You shouldn't mind paying, extra for a better service like a UPS or any kind of service that you get. People are always against paying for things, but then they always want to raise. It can't be that way. If you're going to get an excellent service from somewhere, you should be willing and able to pay for it. That's all. 49 cents with the mail, yeah. If it gets there in whenever, 4 days from now, right? I have more, collision avoidance. What about the auto brake? Oh, the collision avoidance. All right. Excellent point, Stephen Brown. Right. The collision avoidance. I have the same thing on my truck. Here's the thing. I'm not telling you to do this because it's not the right thing to do. I'm saying I've heard about other people that might do this. They may take a piece of aluminum foil. They may take a piece of cardboard and cut it out in the size of that sensor on their front bumper. They may line it with aluminum foil, wrap it with black tape so that it matches the bumper, and then put it out, cover that sensor so it doesn't send a message out, the radar out. Maybe. It wouldn't be the right thing to do. Because what I've experienced in the wintertime of this thing, if it reads a sign, which it reads a lot of signs, it will break the truck. Okay, and so you could have a nearly 100% brake application on ice because somebody pulls in front of you. The other good side of the winter, though, is that a little bit of snowfall seems to cover that sensor up and it doesn't work. So you could do the cardboard thing. I certainly would say not to do it. I'm just telling you what I've heard people do. Don't do it, though, because if you cover that, the truck won't automatically brake on the ice and you'll be able to have full control of it. So you got to decide that. But I agree. You should have a switch, or actually I think it should turn off at 40 degrees or something like that because it just brakes. It doesn't take into consideration the road conditions. So a car can come in front of you. Now your gap, which was 500 feet, this car comes over, might be 80 feet. Bam, brakes. So I'm not a huge fan of it. That's what I say about that. I'm still alive, yes. Wearing flip-flaps at the shipper, agree. Put some shoes on, people. What do you think? You're at the beach? That's my big thing, right? Closed-toed shoes. Do you need $700 steel toes? No. Put some shoes on. You have to wear a uniform. All companies should have a uniform for drivers. It looks professional. It depends. The uniforms, some of them look like, good, and some don't. So it depends. But hey, if they give it to you, you can wear it, and then you don't have to get your own clothes dirty, right? You've seen I've done some Instagrams in my yellow shirt. They give us yellow shirts to wear here, the OSHA color. So that's nice too. As a former Navy mechanic, even in manual mode, you still don't have 100% control. The computer parameters give you a broader range of control, your '09 Cascadia. Well, I found that the new one will only shift now in manual at red line. So if you speed up at red line, it will upshift. And then if you downshift at like 600 or 700, when the thing's about to die, it'll downshift one gear. That's how mine works in manual mode. So if you'll want to do a burnout to get out of a parking place at 1500, you could sit there all day. At least in this truck in manual, and it'll just sit there. So it might be, that was an '09, right? I have an 18. They may have updated the computer, or maybe my company has a different program in there. It partly. How does a Jake work when it comes to rain? Is it a bad idea? Yeah, I agree with with Mr. Hunt here, right? That I do the same thing. I'll do in 2 or 1 instead of full Jakes in the rain. And the more rain, the less Jakes I give it. Snow, not 100%. It depends on the snow, right? What's the road condition? They always say don't use it, but I'm not 100% don't use it, right? On light, you still get a little bit of braking. So am I off today? No, I'm working today. It's Monday. Always be cautious. I totally agree. Can you override the collision mitigation? You can't I can't override it on my truck. Okay, there's no way on my truck to override it unless I were to put a piece of cardboard with tinfoil wrapped in black tape, like Gorilla Tape, and then taped with water impervious tape or some other way to the front of it so it matched the bumper, which I would never do. And I'm telling you not to do that either. That's something I wouldn't do. But something like that would block the radar signal because it's metal, and the radio waves wouldn't come out of it. And so what it shows on the display is no information, and then it doesn't work. So I would say don't do that. Let's see. In the rain, Jakes are okay. Not in the snow and sleet. The retarding can cause a skid. I agree. Look, Anthony, I totally agree. Whatever you're comfortable with, I'll run them on 1, unless it's really heavy snow or whatever. Rain, I'm on 2 in the rain. It just depends. It just depends. Each situation is different, right? In the snow, sometimes they're off. It starts heavy rain, I turn them off again. It just depends. Depends. Otherwise, I'm one of those people that has them on, except the truck stop, right? They're on all the time. I jake them up to the red lights or whatever. They're on. It's super quiet. My truck's got exhaust underneath it. You can't even barely hear it. It's not like it's blaring out these big 7-inch pipes or whatever. Your truck is down, so you're not working. Oh, good. You get paid for it? Good. You should get paid for it. You should get it. If you're down for the whole day, you should get a day's pay. That's what a company, that's another part of the crap company. If people are broke down, should they get paid? They should get a day's pay if they're broke down an entire day. If they're, laid over, you should get an entire day right away. Can I explain Teamsters? Partly, I guess. Union, usually drivers, join together, and like ABF, they're part of the Teamsters. You pay union dues, which are usually 2 hours a month of straight time pay. And then you get the benefits awarded by your contract with your company, like ABF. They have asked for and got in their contract free health insurance. So they only pay their 2 hours of straight time a month, $50, and then they get free health insurance, a pension, which most companies don't have, which I think there is $75 a month for every year you work there. So if you retire and you have 20 years of driving, you get $1,500 a month plus your Social Security. I'm not 100% on that, but that's how that works. And you just join, and you should join. If you're at a union place, join. They're working to get your pay. You're getting the benefit of them, regardless of what these laws said, right? If you work there, you're getting the benefit of the work they did. Don't be a leech and not pay the union dues. They've done work for you, pay for it. Anytime somebody does work for you like that, they're increasing your pay. Pay them money. Give them something for that. What if the radar beeps too loud, blasting door speakers? So you have the lane keep, which mine has as well, which reads the lines. On my truck, I could press a button, turn it off, and it doesn't start again until you restart the truck. And I'll tell you what some people have done is they put a little piece of paper. I've seen it in trucks. So this I don't do because I don't have to. They stick a piece of paper in the button. They fold it up and stuff it in there so the button stays pushed. So I totally agree. You get $25 an hour when your truck is down, but still pay, and you get $250 a day. Right, $25 an hour for 10 hours. Look, you're doing better than probably 90% of people watching this. 80% of the people watching this. Most people have to sit a certain amount of time, and most people don't get any $250 a day when their truck is broke down. That's great money. Union dues are 1.5 times of your hourly wage. All right, so even less than I thought. I thought it was 2 hours of straight time because I have a friend in a union. He's not in the Teamsters. He's actually in the Steel Workers Union, but he works non-steel place. Anyhow, he has to pay 2 times his hourly wage per month for his union dues. So 1.5 times is an even bigger bargain. So for $38 to $40 a month, You have free insurance, free union representation, you get a pension and a 401k. You get paid for all your time. Totally worth it. If you're a union company and you don't join the union, I don't understand why you're trying to get those benefits right without paying the union the dues that they've worked for you. You're getting the benefit of it. What's $50 when you get free health insurance? Oh my gosh. And when there's a problem, you call the union. Do you think they ask a union driver to sit around for free? Oh, you're going to have to sit here. No, we're not paying you anything. Do you think that happens? No. He's going to get paid. If they said you come in, oh, your trailer won't be ready for 3 hours, sit here, we're not paying you. No, he's going to get paid. That person, he or she, right, will get paid like they should get paid. Because they could just walk over to the union and go, they're not paying me anything. They need to pay me. That's the benefit of joining together to get paid. Chris is out there, right? Your Teamster Local 710, good. So I know you're getting paid for all your time. You're in the Central Time Zone. Well, you should move out here to the Eastern Time Zone. No problem. Good. Warner's back in court for failing to compensate drivers for all hours worked. That's a surprise. All these companies should be taken to court for it. I said that last week. I'll say it this week and every other week. Every time, every time at the end of a week, because you have to wait until you're actually not paid. So if you had hours worked that are not paid on your check, you should go down and file at the unemployment office and say, I had wages and they didn't pay me at least minimum wage, and see what happens. Let these companies respond, because they have to respond, otherwise you get paid. If there's no response, then the unemployment office orders the pay. The Department of Employment or whatever it is in your state. They would order you to be paid. So the company would have to respond. And so thousands of people should file every single week. Here's all the hours I'm not being paid. Maybe that would do something. Maybe. I don't know. We got to do something. You can't just sit without being paid and just think it's the industry. That isn't any good. That's not the way to do it. Well, look, it's 3:30. I'm about to wrap it up because I got to go. Let me tell you about the giveaway. Next week, I'm going to do a giveaway here because we have 10,000 people, which I'm super happy about for you all to join on the live show. And I'm going to have a timer. And at the timer, I'm going to have a random number generator. And that number will come up, whatever it is. And I will count back right from them in the comments backwards. And that person that the number picks will get the prize. I have some Loves gift cards, and I've got a dash cam on the way. And I hope the dash cam you pick, the random number generator has to pick it. Now, somebody wrote from another country, and I think it will be the United States only, so I think you'll have to be in the U.S. You'll have to be an adult. There'll be rules in the description because I'm required to post that. And so what I'd like you to do this week is to email me your screen name, because that will ensure that if you're chosen out of there, I'll be able to email you back to say, send me your address so I can give you the prize. So that's how it will work like that. No, Chris, I may not have explained this. The number generator will pick a number that goes backwards. Say it's 9. Then I will just go back in the comments and go back 9 people, and that's how it will win. That's the best, most fair way. So there's no purchase necessary. You'll need to be here live in the comments and just commenting like normal, and then the timer will just go off. The number will be ready, and we'll just go back from there next week, and that's how we'll give them away. But if you would email mark@truckinganswersnation.com, it's next Monday at 1 p.m. Email me your screen name. Some of your screen names don't go to anything, so I have no way to contact you when you win. So if you email, then I'll know I can connect this screen name to an email, because at the end of the show, we'll get together and I'll need your address because I'm going to send you a dash cam or whatever it is you want. So that's how it is. A fellow golfer on YouTube from England, and he has giveaways that are worldwide. Maybe. Stump jumper. I'm going to look into it. Whether, I didn't think about it till just today, whether I can do worldwide or not. I don't know how it works from here. So I will look into it because I've got to follow the YouTube rules or whatever on it. So that's, if I can't do it, I won't be able to do it. I may have to limit it. I'm not sure. But at least be that, and that's how it will work, okay? It'll just generate a number. I'll just go back in the comments, and then that person will be the winner. I think that's the most fair way to do it. There's no, that way I have no choice in picking the number or anything like that. It'll just be the random person that wins it. So if you email me this week, though, that would be very helpful. Your screen name, because I don't know who you are you don't have an email there. So that would be good. I may have people. I see. I don't want you to post your email in the comments either. So I was going to do that. I thought, no, that's not right. So email it to me, and then I'll have it mark@truckinganswersnation.com. So there you go. Resales, yeah, right. I never thought of some of that stuff today. That is good. Okay, Devin, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. I have wanted to drive a road train. I'd love to just go to Australia. Yeah, every 94th wind. Nice. So 3:35. Thanks everybody for being here. Everybody be safe out there, and I appreciate you all coming in here. That's why I'm doing this, and plus any other questions, any way I can help people, I answer everybody's email. More videos this week, of course. Okay, thanks Stump Jumper, at least watch and replay. Leonidas, thanks for coming. Have a great day, everybody. You too. Be safe, everybody, and we'll see you next Monday for the live giveaway show. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. All right. Thanks, and I will be back soon because I got to hit the road too. I might see you out on the road. Say hi to me at the truck stop. I'll see you out there.